What a finish! What a man!
The drum roll finishes, and the target is hit.
And it comes on finals night, and it's a knockout.
Dirty Harrison! Van Velzen!
Yeah, this is maybe my last year, so I'm trying to enjoy it.
One more from the Cobra. Tops.
Game.
Spectacular.
Shot. And the match.
That is how you finish your day.
Luckily, I played a good last game.
You've given me the opportunity. I'm going to take this.
Take it, he does.
Shot. And the
in
match.
very quick
Yellow
time as well.
Classen.
There's a lot of fight, so I'm going to still graft.
Double 16 for 1-4-3 start.
Game shot on the first leg.
I've known Josh since I was probably about 14 years old, so it's an absolute pleasure and a privilege.
Because Josh McCarthy's going to get it done at double 18 and gets
Game
it!
shot.
Unbelievable!
Josh McCarthy.
You got it done emphatically. You won 5 out of 5.
Well, I was hungry for it today. I was really up for it today. I felt like I was ready for it.
You want to finish. He's going to start on the 25 and he's going to finish on the double 18.
Game shot.
And he gets what he needs.
I can make that tonight.
Oh, bullseye for the big fish, and Buckby is expecting it to go. He's almost winning it in, and it
Game shot on the
is!
fourth leg.
Try to spice it up, but we'll see. We'll have a go.
In a game which has seen 8 180s. Now the record is 9. There's the record. He joins Little and Killington.
Game shot and a match.
Well, James Buckby qualifies through.
Welcome along to finals night here at the Modus Super Series. It's week 4 of Series 14 and 6 Super Series superstars are about to duke it out on the stage, and it's all live and free on Pluto TV. Hello, good evening. Welcome along to another evening of Arrows Entertainment, where tonight we've got a 16-year-old sensation, a player who turns 30 today, and one who became world champion 20 years ago. It all makes for a very good mix of talent, great squad selection, always in the England squad. Laura Turner, she joins us tonight as well. Laura, I mean, we could have had any combination of the players this week and it'd be good, but it does look pretty tasty tonight, doesn't it?
It looks great. A really solid lineup. And as you mentioned, it's this real mix of youth versus a bit of experience there as well. So it'd be interesting to see how the evening pans out.
Absolutely. And there are a handful of players that would have expected to be here that haven't made it. We'll talk through a few of those later, but here are the 6 players playing this evening. The last time Yellow Classen set foot in the live lounge before this week was back in Series 5. The Cobra is back and hopes for a 3rd weekly title. He's a young superstar and he impresses everywhere he goes. A semi-finalist and a weekly runner-up, Archie Self looks to secure the silverware tonight. Twice a runner-up, Kirk Parry is into his 8th finals night, but the title still eludes him. Will he finally cross the line in Series 14? He reached Rising Stars finals night and ended up as a weekly runner-up in Series 13. James Buckby is knocking on the door as he seeks a spot in Champions Week. Josh McCarthy is into his first finals night after an 11 series hiatus. He had moments of brilliance and currently sits on a 7-match winning streak. And George Killington is through to his 2nd weekly final and has shown excellence on the outer ring this week. The killer completes the week 4 lineup. Yeah, fantastic lineup, and they've all got here by playing throughout the week in an empty arena. Different feeling tonight with supporters here to watch them, but it all started on Monday in Group A. That was played across 3 days, and Yellow Classen won it in the end, Laura. But Richie Howson and Willie Borland 2 points behind him. Borland in particular was top of that group for some time, yet neither of them are here on finals night.
No, and we often talk about the narrative, don't we, that when you finish second and third, you go into Group B, there's more chance of making it through. But unfortunately for them, as you say, very close to winning Group A, but it was Jelle Classen in the end that managed to do it. On
Jelle, he did obviously share with us at the start of the week that this could well be his last year playing darts, 20 years on from being the youngest ever world champion. It's been some career. What kind of mood will he be in tonight, knowing that it could easily be his last sort of big moment on the TV?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a wealth of experience to draw upon. Whether there's an emotional attachment to it, if that is something that he is seriously considering, which it sounds like it is. But there was some really good stuff that we saw from Jelle as well in Group A. It was a bit up and down. There was a bit of a lack of consistency. But again, winners find a way, and he managed to top that group. And I think he'll really appreciate having a couple of days off, coming back here fresh.
Because it is playing through the pain barrier that is causing him to consider this early retirement. So he was kind of maybe putting all his eggs in one basket, really, wasn't he? Winning Group A is perfect for him.
Perfect, yeah, absolutely. And I just think, he may be one of those players. Quite often we see it with other players. George Killington, who's in the field tonight, when he won Group A, a couple of days off, and didn't manage to do very well when it came to finals night. But with Jelle, when you've got that issue with the pain, having 2 days off, being able to recover, kind of relax, do what you want to do, and then come back fresh, I think it's really important. Yeah,
that 2-day break, the reward for winning Group A. Players in second and third went into Group B. They were Richie Howson and Willie Borland, and as you can see, the pair of them missed out. And Howson didn't even pick up a win over 2 nights in Group B. The 3 incoming players all getting through, but the only place to start is a 16-year-old talent, Archie Self, who got the perfect 16 points.
What a campaign from him. I mean, this is only his second appearance here at the Super Series, but 8 out of 8, playing really well. His stats lead to that as well. He's got the highest average out of anyone in the field tonight when you look at his matches altogether. So, yeah, it just seems like he's just got that bit more confidence about him than perhaps when he came here on debut.
Self-confidence, very good, Laura, very good.
Yeah.
Kurt Parry is a player who should have plenty of confidence in this place. He's played some fantastic stuff, but getting his hands on a trophy, that still eludes him. Yeah, kind of always the bridesmaid, never quite the bride, because he's been a runner-up on so many occasions, twice in these kind of regulation weeks. But he's such a quality player. But for Kurt, I think it just all has to string together. If he plays at the top of his game, he believes it. He's won big events, but just hasn't been able to quite cross the line here yet. Perhaps tonight's his night. Yeah, runner-up on a couple of occasions, and in the international pairs as well. It could well be the night when he has his moment of glory. The other player coming through that group, James Buckby, an interesting story, has kind of broke through on the university darts scene up in Sheffield, played in the Rising Stars here, had a week here as well where he played really well, but I get the sense that he's impressed even more this time around. Yeah, another player perhaps you could draw an alignment to when you speak about Archie Self, because debuted in Series 13, made it through to a final. Yes, he did have the Rising Stars week as well, but has made improvements, did look really good. He actually has the second highest average in the field. So, you know, you've got the two youngest players out of the 6 here tonight, and both of them seem to be in really good form. Yeah, that moment you saw him turning around and laughing, you heard Henry getting all excited up in commentary as well. A good moment there. You can have a look on social media for that. In terms of Group C, there's plenty of excitement in that as well in terms of qualifying. Plenty of drama.
To secure safety. To secure his passage.
30.
But now he's missed 3 darts. Might be difficult for him to stomach. It could be very difficult for him to stomach because Josh McCarthy's going to get a dart at double 18 and get it!
Shot.
Unbelievable!
Josh McCarthy.
Absolutely unbelievable! George Killington's missed 3 darts to qualify. Josh McCarthy's just taken out a 150 to save his skin and to take this incredible battle all the way to the final.
Yeah, that was an incredible moment. George Killington could have qualified at that point. Josh McCarthy did instead with that big finish. In the end, they both end up getting through, but ahead of a night when they could play each other again, those kind of moments can give you an edge, can't they?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, Josh's finishing was exceptional, but under that kind of pressure, in a match that gets you through, and he had the throw as well, so there was lots of things that were probably going through Josh's head at the time, but to pull out a 150, I mean, that was literally a killer blow to George Killington.
Yeah, and it wasn't the only time he did it as well, because Danny Truman was waiting on a double. He still had a chance to qualify. Josh McCarthy took out this 110, so he certainly got the knack of these last leg deciders. And in this short format, that is a great skill to have.
Oh, yeah, yes, and to do it, like you say, at 3 apiece, under the pressure, I think it just shows the level that Josh is playing at the moment, because he's been here a few times. It's the first time he's made it through to a final, and it's taking those key shots at the right moment, and that's what he's done really well this week.
Yeah, and him and George Killington have known each other for a long time. George got through as well, but for him, is it about redemption tonight? The rest of the week doesn't really matter, because last time he was here, it didn't go well for him, didn't it? Didn't win a match, didn't win a leg on finals night.
No, he dominated Group A, so kind of made it straight the way through to finals night. First one to qualify, so first match up, lost the first one 4-0, backed it up again, didn't play well for what, the standard we'd expect from George Killington. I think George now, because he will be playing the first match again, will be very aware of how important a good start in this type of format is.
Yeah, well, let's see the groups then and see how he might fare this evening. I can tell you it doesn't get any easier. It's never easy on a finals night. Killington in with Yella Classen and Kurt Parry. Group 2, Archie Self, Josh McCarthy and James Buckby. A rather youthful seeming group, that one, Laura.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got the kind of 3 up-and-comings, perhaps the least experience of the entire field, whereas you've got the likes of Yella and George, who have had tour cards, lost them recently, Kurt Parry, who knows how to get through to a final, looking to get across the line for the first time. So, yeah, 2 contrasting groups.
And in terms of the betting, the bookmakers have gone with form, and they've gone with Archie Self, 16 years of age and a 5-2 favourite on a Super Series finals night.
But the stats back it up, the performance backs it up. He's been here before, he's been a runner-up, but like I said before, highest average of the field, his finishing was exceptional, and he just looked so confident.
Okay, well, the action is about to get underway. It's a meeting between Yella Classen and George Killington to kick us off tonight. But first things first, let's hear from both men talking to Henry Deacon.
Well, George, first of all, happy birthday. How has your 30th in Portsmouth been?
Yeah, it's been nice. Steve and Michelle took me down Gunwolf. It was a nice, chilled day, and the weather was lovely for it as well.
In terms of this week, let's go back to the darts. What's been your assessment of what you've seen?
I got fight. I got a lot of art in me. I'm quite proud of that. I've always been known as a bit of an arrogant X, Y, and Z or whatever, but when it's not been showing, I've still got fight in me, and I plan on having a good little scrap tonight as well.
Is that a perception you look to change?
We spoke about it yesterday, didn't we, with every other avenue in life right now. I'm not delusional, as in the dream for the last 7 years has been to be a world champion. That's not realistic this second, but we're taking it one game at a time, and as long as I've got 3 darts in my hand, I'm dangerous.
In terms of tonight, though, how difficult a task is this going to be?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, coming in from Monday and then playing Saturday, that's a long old slog anyway, so that's hard. But at the same time, it's the same for all the other boys. It's quite hot outside today as well, so I'm hoping the temperature will do me a bit of a favour and not them so much. But no, we're here.
How do the conditions affect you?
It's hard for everyone, isn't it? It's hot, it's clammy. You're up on a stage with all the lights, so it's a beautiful stage as well. But it's not like playing in the kitchen, is it?
Finally, have you bought any birthday cakes?
I have not. No.
Seriously?
No birthday cakes.
That's poor from you. Anyway, good luck tonight. Wish you well, George.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great to see you back here at the Super Series. It felt like at times you were never away. In terms of Group A, what would be your overall assessment of your performances?
I think it was pretty steady, winning 3 games the first day, 3 games the second day, and 4 games the last day. So I think I was the most consistent one, maybe not the best one, but yeah, I think I deserved the spot in the final.
Is it fair to say that you saved your best till last on Wednesday?
Yeah, Arne, he started really well, so I thought, he's going to play well against me, because I think the day before he beat me as well. So, but he missed some doubles, and I stepped in and was a little bit lucky in the beginning, but I finished well.
Very tight group. Does that kind of battle harden you up a little bit going into the season, the fact you won such a tight group?
For me, I haven't played many games this year, so for me it really didn't matter. The only thing I wanted to do was be number 1, 2, or 3. So I play in the evening session or be in the final. So that was my goal, and luckily I was in the final.
2 Saturday night. It's been a while since you've seen you in one of these, obviously, because you spent a couple of years on tour. What's your memories of playing in these in the past?
I love it. It's I think if you're not at your best, is a good way to get back to your best. It's one of the best ways to practice, and for me to be here, maybe my last time ever. So I want to enjoy it, and until now I'm doing that. So hopefully tonight will be a great evening.
You've won one of these before, and in particular after the last couple of years. How much did it mean to you to pick up a second one to get yourself back into the winners' enclosure?
It's difficult. For me, I want to win just to prove to myself I can still do it. But it's different. I can only play with medication, so it's if I don't take the medication, I'm not great. So it would mean a lot for me to win. But in the back of my head, it's like, okay, it's not the way you should win. But I have no other options.
Go well. Wish you all the best, Jelle.
Thank you.
From the Cobra, tops.
Game,
Spectacular.
shot, and the match.
That is how you finish your day.
Game,
Brilliant
shot,
from Jelle Classen.
and the match.
Absolute
Jelle Classen.
brilliant. Nice darts, mate. Really good timing.
Game shot.
Talking of timing,
Jelle
Classen.
Classen.
Tops.
Game shot.
That's
to the
how you
second
rectify it. A
Jelle
2-0 lead in
Classen.
Classen today.
Game
Take it, he does.
shot, and the
In
match.
very quick
Jelle
time as
Classen.
well.
Yeah, very much the headline name on the stage this evening. The Cobra Jelle Classen, 20 years ago, became the youngest world champion in the sport's history when he was 21 years of age, beating Raymond van Barneveld famously in the final as a 100-1 outsider. Has had some success in the PDC and some success here at the Modus Super Series. Since then, twice a weekly winner, now 41 years of age, takes on the killer George Killington. Has made it through to a weekly final. In the previous series, it didn't go his way that day, as we've discussed. He will be hoping to turn that around. The pair of them have, of course, been doing battle this week. They were both in Group A. Classen won that group, and George Killington, today celebrating his 30th birthday, came through Group C in the end. Andrew Culling will be singing out the scores, if not the happy birthday song. Maybe that'll come at the end of the night if George Killington gets a victory. And hitting all the right notes every time they're in commentary are Laura Turner and Henry Deacon.
And no, there will be no singing happy birthday in this commentary box. Thank you, Murph. Hello, everyone. And so we head to the point where the Champions League field just begins to become established. The first 2 weeks was dominated by senior stars Michael Huntley and Neil Duff etching their names into the winners' enclosure. When we convened this time last week, it was Henry Coates, a player on the other side of the experience scale, who made it through. So for Jelle Classen and George Killington, if they're going to make it through tonight, I suppose it will bring an even kill to us to the experience scale of Champions Week 14. Laura Turner's with me in commentary throughout the course of the evening. 56. And it's one of those nights where you can legitimately make a case for all 6 players involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, I looked at the field, and especially the way that the groups have gone. You've almost got 64. A group of very experienced players in the likes of Classen, Killington and Kurt Parry, and then you've got the young and up-and-comings in Archie Self, James Buckby and Josh McCarthy, who's probably the most experienced of that group. But the standout player so far this week, you have to say, 85. Is Archie Self. He's absolutely buzzing. He's so confident at the moment.
What makes it rather interesting is, for the same reason 98. You can make a case for somebody, is the same reason why you can say they can't do it. There's question marks as well as opportunities.
I think opportunity is the best way just to sum up this evening. Everyone in this field will know that they 45. Have the potential to beat anyone out.
156 for Classen. Well, this would be some way to get the night up and running. Some way to start.
On the first leg. Yellow
The Cobra's up and running. A 156 to get his campaign up and running for this Saturday night. A touch of class from the former world champ.
And as Chris and I were talking about, George Killington will be more than aware
58.
that, especially when you're game one, you need to make a good start, because he went out in the first game last time and he lost 4 legs to 0. And from that point, it's very difficult to find a way back anyway. But yeah, the night was basically over for George before he got to his second game.
Well, it was a rather in and out Group A campaign for Yellow Classen, despite the fact he won. He won 10 of his 15 games. But his overall average to win that group was only 83.73. Had less than 1 max per match, and Yellow at his best was probably one of the best power scorers there was anywhere in Planet Darts.
54.
And his doubling was under a third, so didn't play anywhere near his best, but was still able to get the job done, probably because of moments like that.
Yeah, that his 5th Ton Plus finish and his highest Ton Plus finish of the week so far. But Yellow mentioned it himself, didn't he? There was some really good things, but it was up and down. He was possibly just the most consistent of that group. Highest average in Group A, had 103.66. We know the levels he's got.
That 103.66 came on Wednesday when it mattered, when it was really tight at the top of the Group A table.
60.
And that's just the sign of a real class competitor, someone who knows how to just turn it on when the pressure's on.
Well, they say in boxing, don't they? The last thing you lose is the ability to punch. And yes, Yellow's had his injury problems over the last couple of years. But when push comes to shove, he can occasionally find that killer knockout blow. He's found one to the killer already in this game. Maybe four to take out a second if he wants to lead 2-0.
Over to the 14s, who's hit the double 18.
88. Georgia requires 66.
One of the best counters in the game. He was never going to flinch when that dart went into the double 14. Killington looking for the same equation in terms of initially wanting to leave double 18, but now the target double top.
46.
Drops just low.
Yellow, you require 36.
Back over to that side of the board, but now forced to find double 9.
27.
Way off the mark.
Yeah, that was far from ideal. 4 opportunities to lead this game by 2 legs have come to pass for the Cobra. And so Killington back looking at 2 10s to square this game back up.
James on the second leg.
And level the game up he does. One apiece.
Third leg, Yellow to Faro first.
And in terms of George Killington's week, it has been his finishing that has been his strong point. Had 10 ton plus checkouts over the course of the 25 games playing in Group A and in Group C.
140.
And in terms of his doubling, 36%. He's had exactly, prior to tonight, 200 darts at a double for the week, taking out 72 of them in the process.
31.
Yeah, the one thing I will say with regards to this particular fixture is if you look at the head-to-heads from earlier on in the week, then all 3 of them have gone the way of Yellow Classen. When you go into a finals night, you'll know that as a player, both the player that's lost them all and the player that's won them all.
$82.
Now, I've never been 30, so I can't comment on this too much. However, it's a big birthday for George Killington to be
57.
spending down here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
Yeah, I can't remember 30. But you're right, absolutely. But I think when you're playing and you've got those ambitions, you heard George saying that, yeah, okay, his game's not in the place where he wants it to be at the moment, but he's still got ambitions to do big things in the sport. So, yeah, I think birthdays just get pushed to one side. But it is unfortunate it's fallen on a Saturday as well. How often do you get birthdays on a Saturday, let alone the big ones?
Once every 7 years?
Leap years can make you miss one.
Or give you double dip. Anyway, moving on. Classen 167 to lead this game by 2-1.
58. Yellow, you require 167.
Nonetheless, the candles can wait till later for George Killington. Does he tempt the bullseye?
119.
But the line and length was a little bit off.
But at the back end of legs, this is all really promising for Classen. We saw the 156 go in leg 1, missed the 124 in leg 2, and then just missed the 167 there. Positive signs for the Dutchman.
Yellow, you require 48.
He's outmanoeuvring Killington in the scoring stakes. Looking for 2 doubles to win this leg.
40.
Couldn't find the second one. And Killington's constantly finding himself a visit behind in legs. Classen misses his chance,
George, you
but
require
Killington's in a
92.
position where he's going to have to hit something to give himself a dart at a double.
Yeah, and you've got options from 92. It's going to go treble 20. Finds it. Double 16.
60.
So 2 4s
Yellow,
for
you
Classen.
require 8.
Three legs played, 3 holes a throw.
Yellow Classen.
And the Cobra has a 2-1 lead, and perhaps
Fourth
the
leg,
telling
George,
difference in
2 for
terms of the
over.
power scoring
Game
of
on.
the pair in this game comes in the 2 treble department, where Yellow Classen has had double the number of 2 treble visits in comparison, shall I say, to his
140.
opponent.
Although it is a 2 treble start for George Killington. Back comes Classen.
180.
Comes back with the first max of the match.
You score 2 trebles, I'll raise you 3.
56.
Yellow famously found himself on the receiving end of a 9-dart at the World Championships against Gary Anderson in the
59.
2016 semi-final. Won Gary Anderson the first set, and from that point onwards it was one-way traffic for the Flying Scotsman en route to his second World Championship success. That would be Yellow's best performance at the Alexandra
162.
Palace. That twin with a good 2016 saw him in the Premier League less than a decade ago.
78. Georgia
Well,
require
that slip with the second dart from
143.
Classen's afforded. Killington 6 from 143.
50.
He's not cleaned it up in the way he would have wanted to, and again he's in a situation where when he comes back he's going to have to hit something to give himself a dart at the outer ring.
64.
Luckily for him,
Georgia require
Klassen's
93.
left himself still in 3-figure range.
Double 18 for parity at 2
James
apiece.
on
And it's a
the
clean
fourth.
finish for
George
Killington.
Killington. Fifth leg,
Back
yellow
on
2
turns,
for
every
first.
single one of
Game
the
on.
4 legs played so far has gone with the player throwing first. But Killington needs Classen to blink at
43.
some point. And that might be the opening he's been waiting 4 and a bit legs for.
It was better from Killington. It was the first leg of the match where
140.
Classen hadn't had an opportunity at a finish.
89.
And the other thing I suppose you have to wonder with Yellow is he's mentioned some of the issues that he's got in terms of the throw, in terms of
100.
stamina really more than anything else. And so the longer you can drag him into a contest, the more it's going to favour you, because we don't know how long into a game
24.
do things just begin to get a little bit desperate for the Dutchman.
Yeah, and it's not just the pain barrier that he's spoken about, but, you know, with darts, we speak about it so often, but it's kind of that mental strength as well, that concentration when you've got something else that's distracting you. Obviously, if you can go up there, win 4-0, then you're only thinking of the darts. But when you get embroiled and brought into a match, then I do think it could be a factor. We may be seeing it here.
76.
Well, Killington has overturned the throw, and he's going to get plenty of time from this point onwards to
96.
lead 3-2. And this really is the perfect time to break in a contest like this, because Killington, if he could win this, they would have the throw to win it 4-2 in the next. And who knows how important a win by a particular scoreline could be as the night goes on. Remember, if you get 2 points and a positive legs difference, you will automatically qualify through to the semi-finals.
59. George, you require 45.
He's got 6 of them here. Not the most convincing of singles. So no mistake when it came to the double. Killington 3-2 up. He's got a prize break. And now has the throw to get the job done.
Game on.
Yeah, and you just get the sense that George Killington's just starting to up the levels. Found a 14 holder throw, broke in 15 in that previous leg.
$85. 99.
Despite winning Group A, Yellow has found himself in positions this week where the pack has been against the wall, where he's had to come through some kind of adversity, and he's being put through that particular well once again here.
134.
And he's in big bother.
Yeah, George just seems to have that bit between his teeth, but Classen finds his second maximum. Keeps him very much interested in this leg.
Well, I mentioned earlier on in the piece that Killington was kind of finding
48.
himself a visit behind in legs, and that was mainly due to the 2 treble scoring. Well, since then, he's found 7 2 treble turns. That's what's been buying him opportunities and chances to get legs 1 in 5 visits.
42.
And he's got another opportunity here to try and get stuff done in 15 or less. And he's got 6 from here to wrap this game up 4-2 and to get his finals night campaign up and running rather successfully.
But we'll leave him
89.
on a finish. It's good board management from Killington.
100.
Really good
George, you
last there
require
from Yellow.
145.
However, is this George Killington's time? Yellow Classen kicked the game off with a 1-5-6. But Killer isn't going to kill it off with a 1-4-5.
58.
Yeah, and a
Yellow, you require
break-back
80.
opportunity for Yellow Classen to force a deciding leg, and it's a big slip with the first.
40.
May just be a dart at
George,
the
you
bullseye,
require
but it's an
87.
opportunity nonetheless for George Killington to win this match. He got the break in leg 5. And now looking to win it in leg 6. And it is the bull to get the win.
51.
That way wide of the mark.
Yellow, you require 40.
Match start come and gone for Killington. And this to rescue the match for Classen. 1 left.
20.
Cannot find the double.
Well, I suppose
George, you require 36.
if there's one silver lining of that miss is he's left himself a favourable double on double 18. Not by choice,
Game
but
shot
executed
and a match.
perfectly.
George Killington.
And George Killington gets the night off to a winning start. A 4-2 success against the former BDO World Champion Yellow Classen. And the birthday boy has got 1 foot now into the semi-finals. He's being cheered on, as you can see there, by Steve West. We know he's not going to be at Champions Week, but his good pal could be. George Killington gets the night's affairs up and running with a 4-2 success over Yellow Classen.
Hi again, welcome back to the Modus Super Series where finals night got off to a bang. Yellow Classen took out 156 in the first leg of the evening, but it was George Killington who got the victory in Group 1. A 4-2 win in the end against Yellow Classen gets Killington on his birthday off to a winning start. Coming next, Group 2 about to get underway. Archie Self and James Buckby, who've played each other already this week, and in that match James Buckby had a moment to forget.
James, you require 119.
So 119 for the match. For the match. Oh, he's miscounted. He's miscounted. He's gone for the ball. He thought he had 129 left. Is that the worst miscalculation at the worst possible time?
Archie,
the penny's just
70.
dropped. The penny has just dropped. He cannot believe the mistake he's just made and how he may have gift-wrapped this game to Archie Self. Oh,
56.
He's got away with it.
James, you require 15. No score.
No. Discombobulation.
Archie, you require 14.
He cannot believe what he has just done.
Game shot.
And he's let Archie Self win this game, and he knows he's got away with one. He still can't believe it, James Buckby. He is still in utter shock and disbelief.
James Buckby later revealed that his girlfriend's profession was maths teacher, but he got enough numbers to get through Group B along with Archie Self, who actually wouldn't be beaten by anybody. That's as close as anybody came to seeing off Archie Self. Can James Buckby be the first to beat him this week? Well, we're about to find out as they go head-to-head at finals night in the opening match of Group 2, and Henry caught up with both earlier tonight.
Jay, it's fair to say a little bit of everything in that Group B. When you had to dig in, you dug in, and there were some really good performances in there as well.
Yeah, I'm really proud of last night, especially how I bounced back from the end of Thursday night, and just hoping to make it worthwhile.
Particularly after the first game, there wasn't really much you could do against Archie, that's fair to say. So what did you do to keep yourself going yesterday?
Well, I actually watched it back this morning, and I think it was Scott that said he's just going to brush that off because it was an excellent performance from Archie. And I just did exactly that. When he beat me, I know it was a whitewash, but I thought, you know what, he deserved that, and I just need to lock in for the next 2 games.
Into another Saturday night here. You enjoy these occasions, don't you?
Yeah, I was really relieved to make the Saturday night. I find it a lot more exciting, and I much prefer it when there's people here and there's a crowd and stuff like that.
How are you going to deal with the heat? Because it's a very warm evening in Port, so there's going to be a lot of people inside. It's going to get a bit roasty up there, isn't it?
Yeah, probably wipe my hand on my trousers a lot. I don't really... it doesn't normally seem to affect me too much, luckily, so hopefully I'll deal with it just fine.
Right, you know the trajectory, you know the pattern of play for yourself here. Semi followed by a final, so naturally there's only one more thing for you to tick off, isn't there?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, if it doesn't happen tonight, I've got a feeling it's going to happen at some point. So just take each one as it comes and think about each game at a time.
I was going to say, it looks like you just take everything in your stride. Is that fair?
Yeah, I try not to look too far ahead. I try to only think about the next match, and even within a match, only the next leg, and don't get too caught up in it all.
Wish you well. Good luck, Jade.
Thank you very much.
Archie, as far as Group B campaigns are concerned, in terms of Super Series campaigns are concerned, can it get much better than what you did the last couple of days?
No, I don't think it can. I mean, I just felt very comfortable on the stage the last 2 nights, and I'm hoping they go again tonight.
What settled you in so quickly, do you think?
The first couple of games, the first 2 against Willie and... No, sorry, against whoever I played. Yeah, 2 90-odd averages, and that settled me very quickly.
And then last night, if there was any question as to how you were going to deal and cope with a good first night, if anything, you played better, didn't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know what happened to me last night. The last game didn't feel like 103 average, and my dad told me it was 103 average. I couldn't believe it.
Does that almost give you good signs going into tonight? The fact that you're playing well, but you almost don't feel as if you're playing as well as what the numbers suggest.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just came here with a lot more confidence than last time, and I'm proving it this week.
You've been close before in terms of winning one of these. What would it mean for you to go and win one of these?
Oh, it'd mean the world. It's one of the only things that I haven't ticked off yet in the darting world.
And obviously, we've spoken about the story of Luke Little here a number of times. You could be the second 16-year-old to win a weekie. You could be another teenage project. And the fact that you've seen so many players, people maybe slightly older than you, have success off the back of this, how important is the Super Series for you as a development tool as you drive further yourself in your career?
Oh, it's brilliant because you get obviously the stage experience, the TV, the lights on you, and it just helps me to progress as a player.
Right, wish you all the very best this evening. Good luck, Archie.
Thank you very much.
And it's the ball for a 164, and 164 is pinned, and a real spring in the step of Archie Self.
The bullseye is there to be hit, and the bullseye is hit. What a brilliant finish of Archie Self. And look at the smile, you couldn't wipe it off his face.
Yeah, he certainly is here, and he's here off the back of an unbeaten Group B campaign. Archie Self about to take on James Buckby in a rematch of what we just witnessed before those interviews there, and that whitewash win by Archie. Self, 16 years of age, a favourite and the best starts of anybody this week. He was playing county at 6 and Super League at 7. James Buckby, his opponent here, 22 years of age. Did get through from Group B despite those defeats to Self. His best run is runner-up, like Archie's, in week 7 of the previous series, beaten by Neil Duff. This is the one that counts, even if he's best remembered for a miscount this week so far. Can he be the first to defeat the young 16-year-old, or are we going to see a teenage dream fulfilled tonight? Here we go then, back to Henry and Laura to talk you through Game 1 of Group 2.
Thank you, Murph. And this young man, as you rightly say, has been the player of the week, bar none, up to press. When he walked through the doors, literally on his 16th birthday, there was a lot of expectations on the shoulders of Archie Self. And he rose up to them rather well. He got through to the final on his debut. And this week, well, he's been in a league of his own, simple as that. Average of 93.92 over the course of 8 games, all 8 in which he's won. And not just that, the doubling stats too. 32 hits on 80 attempts, 40% on the outer ring. If we were looking at the numbers, and I know it's not a numbers game in that particular department, at least anyway,
41.
You'd hand the trophy to Archie Self. But as we know, it's not as simple as that.
No, I think the opening game really proved it, because when we looked at the head-to-heads between Yella and George,
97.
It was Yella that was 3-0 up from this week. Playing in a finals night, it has a very different feel to it. You've got the crowd in, so you've got a different atmosphere.
45.
You're so used to playing in a silent arena. But there's also the expectation. And there was plenty of expectation for that to go in. We saw a 156 from Classen to kick off match 1. 146 from Archie Self. His finishing, as you mentioned, Henry, has been exceptional.
Fair to say that he's picked up where he's left off. And
100.
Last night, Archie Self played the opening game of his evening against James Buckby. And he would
96.
absolutely dismantle James, averaging 105.47, the highest average we've seen so far this week. For Buckby, it might be a case of deja vu here.
Yeah, you do want to avoid, 96. Though, in this particular short course round robin format, not to be beaten to nil, because things become very, very difficult at that
60.
point.
$133.
Yeah, 105.47 average, 3 180s, 4 from 6 on his doubles in that 4-0 win yesterday, right at the very beginning of the night. And then the meeting the night before, as we've already seen this evening, was where James Buckby was the closest of anybody to beating Archie Self so far in this week 4, bar for a miscount right at the very end. Well, at this present moment in time, it's one-way traffic. Self looking at tops, 40. Leaving it after 12 to get the break and to lead 2-0.
35. James,
There's a
require
real
96.
opportunity for Buckby to level things up at 1 apiece. Tops for a double-double finish.
56. Archie, you require 5.
Those might well be the types of opportunities James will have to take if he's going to win this match.
Archie
He
Self.
spurt one there and he finds himself 2-0 down as a result.
Third leg, Archie to throw first. Game on.
And I think the one thing me and Scott Mitchell were talking about over the course of the last couple of nights in regards to Archie Self is, for somebody so young, how spot on his
41.
temperament is.
Yeah, we've spoken about the fact that he's 16 years old, but you look at some of the things that he's already
140.
achieved. You know, he's represented England 2022, 2023.
140.
He's one of those players that has probably got more experience than his actual age would, you'd expect for it. And he's won, and he's put on an England shirt as well. He is someone who is really honing his skill in all the different platforms that are available.
Forget England youth, he's good enough to play in the England senior side the way that he's been playing. World champion at the Lakeside at the age of 14. Still amazingly eligible to play in that youth competition at Frimley Green for another couple of years. I'm sure nobody else wants him to play in it. In his age bracket at least,
100.
anyway.
James, you require 161.
Treble 17. 161 won't be found, so this a 3-0 lead for Archie Self.
$60.
Yeah, that last start was always going to be a little bit awkward because that second dart, bit of a blocker. And this, you feel, has to go for Buckby.
Game shot in the third round.
Just about squeezed it into the top corner. Back to 2-1, back up
Fourth
throw.
leg, James to throw first.
How many times do we say it? When a player breaks back in leg 3, the fourth leg is a crossroads leg. It changes the direction of travel, whether normal service will be resumed again or whether we are back
55.
to a best of 3. However, having got the break back, that is the far from ideal start. Just left the door open for Archie.
58.
But luckily for James, he hasn't accepted the invitation.
Like anything, we don't know at this particular
82.
stage just even how important that one solitary leg may be.
Well, it's been a big week for James, not just playing here,
59.
but an even bigger week off the hockey because he finished his last university exam on Wednesday before then making the trip
134.
down from Sheffield, where he studies, to Portsmouth to compete this week. Although, I can't believe he's kept this on the down low, but James was actually born in Portsmouth.
Kind of gone full circle. All roads lead back to Portsmouth.
80.
Well, that, unfortunately for him, has been a bit of a cornerstone this week. He's had a number of bouts outs over the course of his Group B campaign, and that hapless luck has
James, you require
continued into
150.
tonight. But he's done a really good job of turning this game on its head. We'll hope for 6 from this point, but that's reliant that Archie
59.
Self isn't going
Archie,
to take
require
out the crucible.
147.
He's not. So Buckby with a chance
98.
to level things up.
James, you require 91.
At 2 apiece.
Joe 19. Needed it to leave double 60. Not going to get. And
75.
so Self here for normal
Archie
service to
require
be
49.
resumed. And if he can find this 49, will find himself within a leg of winning this contest.
17. James, you require 16.
Well, a few costly misses on the outer ring for Archie Self. 1 dot left to punish.
14. Archie, you require 32.
When you're presented with olive branches, you
Game
have
shot on
to
the
take
fourth
what's
leg.
on its roots.
Archie
As
Self.
Self pins a double 16 to leave 3-1. Walking straight
Fifth
back
leg,
down the
Archie
hockey,
to
knowing that
throw
he has
first.
the darts
Game
in
on.
his hand to cross the line and to make it 9 wins out of 9 in his week 4
56.
campaign. Now, there has been a couple of occasions where a player has gone through an entire week without defeat. And on both of those occasions, it has come through a player playing in Group B. Most infamously, the first player to do it was Bo Greaves on her debut in this competition. And the other player, perhaps no surprise, a certain Derek Coulson.
Yeah, I don't think either of those names will come as much of a surprise that they've done that previously.
60.
Two players at present moment in time provisionally in the field for the World Championship come December.
$94.
Well, this is a big moment for James. I know he's been here a couple of times. But the story's an incredible one. That's his family. And he only really took it seriously from the university scene, which is really beginning to burst at the seams. And now it's fair to say that he's turning himself into a proper operator.
He is indeed, but he's finding himself very much on the back foot in
68.
this particular match.
Archie, you require 116.
Self has 6 and 116 to win the match. 419s to leave tops, or he can stay there because 4 treble 20s will leave himself double 18.
80.
Well, he knows he'll have more chances to get across the line in this match, but how much pressure may he be under?
95. Archie, you require
so double
36.
18 to get this wrapped up by a 4-1 scoreline. 2 9s.
Game shot.
Is
And
found,
Archie
and that
Self.
is an opening win for Archie Self. If the truth be told, that was a game which was one-way traffic. James Buckby did have a couple of opportunities to level up at 2-2, but once Archie Self re-established the two-leg buffer, there was only ever going to be one player that was going to win that contest, and that was Archie Self by a 4-1 scoreline. Next up, George Killington and Kurt Parry as they resume Group 1.
Welcome back. Before the break, the favourite doing favourite things. Archie Self, 16 years old, still unbeaten this week, and he made it look routine against James Buckby in the opening match of Group 2. Confirmation of the scoreline then. Archie Self with a 4-1 victory over James Buckby. Earlier tonight in Group 1, George Killington got the better of Jelle Classen 4-2. He looked to book his place in the semi-finals. In the next match, Killington taking on Kurt Parry, the Welshman who spoke to Henry a little earlier tonight.
Kurt, in terms of Group B, what would be your overall assessment of things?
Bit weird. I thought the Thursday I played okay, consistent, which is nice. Hit a couple of doubles, which is also nice. Yeah, last night I can forget about, to be honest. I struggled a little, but still managed to get through, so take the positives where they are.
Fair to say the job was pretty much done on Thursday?
Yes, I think so. I needed it, really. You know, a couple of things went my way as well last night, which always helps. So yeah, just done the job.
Into another Saturday night. This is a rather regular basis for yourself. And when you look at this week and you look at the players involved, I get the sense that everyone feels as if there's a similar opportunity to do something here.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't say there's a specific standout player that can walk away with it, whereas in some weeks there are. So yeah, I think all of us got a bit of an opportunity, so whoever turns up.
Scott Mitchell was mentioned on commentary last night. He feels as if you've gone under the radar a little bit. Is that where you like to hang?
I don't really mind, you know. Either way, you still got to do it. Come here and do the same job. So whether I'm under the radar or people are paying attention, I don't really mind.
It's going to be quite hot out there tonight. Does that alter things when you consider how extreme the heat's going to be at points?
Not really. I don't really find the heat that much of a problem. So yeah, it's just it all depends on how I do, really.
And how nice would it be to finally cross the finish? I mean that I'd never have to ask that question again.
No, you might have to ask it again. Again, if I turn up, I feel like I can win, but it's if I turn up.
Wish you all the best. Go well, Kurt.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Expecting it to go. He's almost winning it in, and it is! The big fish reeled in by Kurt Parry.
The tops. For a break of throw. What a shot!
Oh boy. Yeah, Kurt Parry, such a talented player, but the nearly man of the field in terms of the Modus Super Series. 9 appearances here, 2 runner-up finishes and 2 semi-final losses, yet no title. The most finals night experience of all the players here, but no trophy to show for it. George Killington, well, having beaten Jelle Classen in the first match of the evening, he is a step away from the semi-finals. Kurt Parry, the 32-year-old Welshman who has been runner-up twice. The talent isn't in question, but yet to cross that final hurdle. In terms of that race then to get through to the semi-finals, George Killington doesn't even need to win the match to get there. 3 legs will do, and the killer will be in the final 4. And as for Kurt Parry, he can guarantee qualification if he gets a 4-0 victory in this match. But of course, if he doesn't, we'll have a second chance against Jelle Classen a little later. Right, back to Laura and Henry then to talk you through Game 3.
Thank you very much. And so Kurt Parry looking for that first weekly title, of which he so desperately craves. If you put everything together, he's lost in 5 finals here across the Super Series format, across the international pairs, and of course that heartbreaker at the ADC Tour Championship back in October last year, where he missed a handful of darts to pick up the title before Graham Hall pinched it at the line with that 110 checkout. He's a man who has come as close as you physically possibly can to picking up a trophy of some kind of description in Portsmouth. He's hoping tonight is the night where Kurt is king.
59.
Yeah, and he's one of those players, isn't he, that he's it's one that we're always waiting for. There is an expectation now when Kurt comes, because he can negotiate those group stages so well. He can make it through the finals with relative ease, as you mentioned. You know, five times a runner-up here at the Live Lounge, but it's just getting across that line. Sometimes the hardest dart to find is the one that allows you to win.
And the problem is, because he's come so close so many times, it's idiots like me that keep after reminding him that such discrepancies have happened in recent times.
And they don't need reminding. I mean, I know we have this conversation every time Robert Thornton walks back into the Live Lounge. Yes, he has won a specials week, but has made more finals nights than Kurt Parry has had appearances here, and still hasn't had a weekly title.
More finals nights than most players have had appearances here.
58.
Not seen Robert yet in this series. I'm sure we will see him before too long. They had a wicked deflection, which actually makes life rather hard work for Kurt.
99.
Killington looking at
Georgia
164. 6 from here to get the 1 of 3 that he needs. Doesn't have to win the match to go through. Just needs 3 legs to secure his passage into the final 4. So effectively, just keep holding. He's going to be through. Easier said than done, of course.
100.
It is indeed.
$133.
That's great setup play from Kurt Parry, but it's Killington with the first real opportunity in this match. It's 1 dart at tops for Killington, and 1 dart is all he needs. He just looks so much more pumped up for this evening.
It's almost as if playing in front of a crowd, playing in a completely different atmosphere, despite it being the same building, just brings the best out of him. And look, we say so often, don't we, about stage players and floor players. Now, admittedly, we haven't seen too much of George Killington on the biggest stage, despite how long he was a tour card holder for. 8 years he held one. But maybe there's just something playing in front of people that just brings out a better side in him.
140.
Yeah, and I just wonder how much motivation he takes from his last finals night as well, because I'm sure he would have come away from that being bitterly disappointed. Absolutely dominated the Group A campaign, but then came into that first match losing 4 legs to 0, and he was on the back foot from there on in.
Well, the birthday boy is making it look a bit of a cakewalk so far, isn't he?
99.
Yeah, so far so good for George Killington. But we know Kurt Parry is not going to make life easy as he finds the first max of the match.
He's got his supporters in the front row. And he has got his supporters back home.
43. Kurt, you require 150.
Gavin Roderick is watching this evening.
60.
Couldn't be here tonight, but very much supporting his butty, as they say in Wales.
That they do.
135. Kurt, you require 90.
Now on this 90 for Kurt Parry. It's ball for 1-1.
65.
For the 25 is the target that gets scraped, and so Killington looking at 84 to get the break and open up a 2-0 lead in the game to put himself 1 away from semi-final qualification.
60.
Well, they were mightily close, but couldn't find a way through.
25.
Yeah, 2 well-thrown darts. Kurt Parry here, just looking for 1 well-thrown dart at 8-8.
Game shot on the second leg. Kurt Parry.
And 1 well-thrown dart at 8-8 is found for Kurt Parry, and we are back
George to throw first. Game
at
on.
parity, at 1 apiece.
And if you're someone who's new to
60.
watching Kurt Parry play, obviously we've seen him play so much over the years, you may get the sense that he's not too bothered about anything. He's such a nonchalant player. His throw is just so casual, so natural. But believe you me, whenever he steps up there, he really does want to win. I just think that is his demeanour up on the stage. You don't necessarily always see the big reaction from Kurt.
44.
Yeah, he's got the characteristics of a puppy, but the heart of a lion, Kurt Parry.
85.
One of the mildest mannered human beings you'd ever wish to meet. But when he's up there, he is a titan.
He's won arguably one of the more difficult tournaments you can actually win by winning the Champions of Champions,
59.
which is a tournament which from start to finish is just best of 3 legs. I mean, it's kind of, you feel like sometimes it's anyone's game, but to actually get through the field that's there, you know, the likes of Johnny Clayton's and Gerwin Price's have won that title previously. So to be able to pick that title up, that's really impressive.
And when you say better free for we're not just talking about one day playing better free. You have to come through a qualifier to even get to the last 5-12 of that tournament.
45.
Yeah, it's always a really well-attended tournament, isn't it? I mean, say 5-12, but you think how many players, as you mentioned, go through qualifiers to try and get there as well.
Yeah, it must be
42.
a tournament played quite literally. It's thousands.
91.
As Parry looks at 91 for the break and to go 2-1 to the good. Wide
56.
to the left. Now that tends
Georgia
to be
require
Kurt's miss when he
156.
does.
Oh, George Killington had this hit against him by Yellow Classen. He can't do the same here to Kurt Parry.
100. Kurt, you require 35.
And so Parry here looking at 35. Double 16 to get his nose in front. It's awkward because the flight is just obscuring the target somewhat, but he's
Games
managed
on the
just to
third leg.
squeeze
Kurt
away in between the wires.
I mean, there was still quite a
Fourth
bit
leg,
of open
Kurt,
bed,
two
so
for
to
first.
squeeze it in that
Come on.
top corner. But now
100.
it's advantage Parry.
$96.
And so for Killington, the birthday champagne on ice for now. Remembering he's
96.
3 legs to qualify himself through, but Parry with the break there has put himself in control of this contest.
$94. $58.
You have to say this Group 1 does contain 3 players who have really quite good board management skills.
$100.
Yeah, these are the types of mathematics which would be a field dream on Owen Binks' TikTok account.
96.
Apparently he has one. I don't have it, but apparently he's all over it.
Another one in there.
133.
Would have left
Kurt, you require
tops, but
151.
the 151 not going for Kurt Parry, so looking to set up himself.
111. Georgia requires 78.
Set up, he does perfectly to leave himself on tops, forcing the 78 to go. 2 in hand, a double 12. And all of a sudden, the pendulum swings again, because that break back means that George Killington has the darts here to send himself through to the semi-finals. Because he beat Classen by a 4-2 scoreline, he doesn't have to win this game. 2 points and a positive leg difference will always be good enough to get yourself into the final 4. If Killington wins any of the next couple of legs,
45.
that is a guarantee.
Yeah, whether George will be aware of that at this point. He's playing like a player that is just going straight for the win.
Some may
45.
potentially argue the way he celebrated winning that previous leg. Did he think that was enough?
I think we've just seen this build-up from George throughout the week because Group A, it was a real slow
60.
start for him. Played much better in Group C to make sure he got a spot in finals night. And tonight we're seeing just this different side of George where he is playing in front of the crowd and he is living every single leg.
Well, Kurt Parry said he wasn't going to be affected by the heat, but we can vouch. We're right at the very top of the building tonight.
26.
It is roasting hot here at the Live Lounge.
60.
If it wasn't for the air conditioning unit we have here, the comms box would have been renamed the sweat box.
Yeah, I've got a blanket. No, you're right. It is warm out
100.
there. I've had the privilege of playing here at the Live Lounge in both winter, where it is relatively quite a nice even pace temperature. And then I've played in summer, and yeah, especially when you've got more bodies, when you've got the crowd in, I think that's one of the things that can make a difference. But as players have said, it is the same for everyone up there.
Kurt, you require 101.
Parry to keep Killington at bay, cannot take out the 101.
49.
Now, yesterday, George Killington was hit with a killer 150 from Josh McCarthy to stop him from qualifying through to Saturday night's final. But he's not going to qualify here by taking out one of his own.
94. Kurt, you require 52.
Yeah, good switch with the last, but it's Parry. 2 in hand for tops.
12.
This is a qualification through to the semi-finals.
George, you require 56.
To go one step further than he did last time out.
Double 10.
36.
Just the wrong side
Kurt,
of the wire.
40.
Killington is going to qualify through this match.
Kurt Parry.
He is going to have to wait. He is going to have to find a way of breaking Kurt Parry once
Six
again.
Kurt to throw first.
Right, I've got the hammer, and I'm going to break the 9-dart shootout Classen in case of emergency, because if Kurt Parry wins this game by 4 legs to 2, there would still be a possibility that could happen in this Group 1 if Jelle Classen was to beat Kurt Parry by the same said 4-2 scoreline.
Yeah, and with a group that, such as Group 1, that is not beyond the realms of impossibility.
It's been a little while since we've seen a 9-dart shootout.
85.
January have we seen such a scenario unfold.
Yeah, just having a look at the records, and we seem to average about 2 a year, with an anomaly in 2023 where we didn't have any.
And of course, last year we had one in the international pairs.
Well, we were in commentary, weren't we, when that was set up? That was an amazing one.
I think probably the best night we've ever had in this building, bar none. But Parry here looking to get the job done here for himself.
136.
He was one of our alongside Richie Burnett for Wales that evening. He's hoping to end that familiar
45.
tale for him here on the south coast of England, but just a big number there means just a bit more work to do when he comes back to see this game through.
Yeah, but will he get
75?
3 darts
No,
or
you
9
require
balls? Potentially
91.
just the 3.
Tops.
51. Georgia require
That's another
145.
chance to go through. Might be the last one he gets in this game. Worst case scenario, he's guaranteed to throw more darts tonight because worst case scenario, he'll be involved in a 9-dart shootout. But this for Kurt Parry to get his night off to the perfect start.
It's a great guide with the first and
shot.
finds it with the second, and it is the Welshman Kurt Parry who gets across the line, 4 legs to 2. George Killington had a chance to secure his place in the semi-finals, didn't quite manage to find that 3rd leg, so the wait goes on. Well, there is the tail of the tape. A few missed opportunities by both, but it's a 4-2 win for Kurt Parry, and after the break, we go back to Group 2.
You don't know he's there. That's how good he is.
He set the benchmark.
Snap your fingers and George would be able to do it on demand.
Immediately you knew he was the real thing.
The respect isn't just on the stage, it's the respect he gives the players as well.
He doesn't make mistakes. So it's pretty much perfection in every way.
Yeah, the turn of the year, a legendary darting career came to an end. One of the greatest referees ever to hold a microphone, George Noble, had his final call on the World Championship stage, and we caught up with many of the biggest names in darts as George Noble retirement to talk through it, and you can watch that live, well, after the live darts, sorry, here on Pluto TV. Now you are watching the live darts, and you know it's live because I just made a mistake. But Kurt Parry didn't in his 4-2 victory over George Killington. That blew Group 1 wide open. Killington got the 2 legs he needed to ensure he will be throwing darts on the stage tonight, but will it be in the semi-finals or maybe in a 9-dart shootout? Group 1 goes down to the final game. Will Group 2 go a similar way? We'll find out as James Buckby fights for his finals night life against Josh McCarthy, the Group C winner, who, before he took to the stage, had a little chat with Henry Deacon.
Josh, at last, the Saturday night interview here. It's taken a while. It's nice to see you back here again. And some of the darts you play, is it fair to say maybe some of the best that we've seen from you here?
Possibly. I mean, I think I've been very inconsistent, and each time I've been here, I feel like maybe I've let myself down a little bit. But, you know, let's see how tonight goes.
What's clicked this time?
Confidence. Literally confidence. Whether you're 3-0 up, 3-0 down, 3-all, just play your darts.
And to a certain extent, because you've been away for so long, can you come into this with a slight air of free roll about it?
Yeah, I can, but like I say, I want to win. I don't want to be the nearly man or even the make the numbers up man. I want to win.
What kind of opportunity does tonight present yourself?
A big one, yeah, very big one. I mean, I've been looking forward to this for a while. From I think it was February when I qualified through the vaults. So, and I've been looking forward to it. Been preparing well.
It's going to be a warm one out there. Have you prepared for the heat?
Touch wood, I'm quite lucky in that sense. I'm not a particularly big guy or anything, so I don't tend to struggle too bad with the heat. But it's going to be the same for all of us. So we keep going.
It's going to be a fairly sizable crowd in there as well this evening. How much are you looking forward to play in front of a few punters, shall I say?
Yeah, it'd be good. I've got a few friends coming down from Swindon and Aylesbury. Got the in-laws, my parents as well. So yeah, it'd be nice to play in front of them.
Nice would it be to cap it off with that first trophy?
Let's go.
Wish you well. Good luck, Josh.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Set his stall out for the very first leg. He kicked off with a tops of McCarthy. He trailed this game by 2 legs to 0 for the 13th darter.
Treble 14 is double 11. Oh, what a finish. Josh McCarthy.
It felt like I was at home. It felt good.
Everything's still to play for tonight, but James Buckby must win this match to keep his hopes alive. If he manages to win it 4-0 against Josh McCarthy, then Buckby will be the first man through to the semi-finals. Josh McCarthy just needs to win. If he gets that, then Archie Self goes with him. In fact, Self will qualify if McCarthy gets to 3 legs in this one. So here we go, Josh McCarthy, the final cab off the rank on this finals night here at the Super Series, taking on James Buckby in his first finals night match. And he had a fine campaign in Group C, produced some big shots in big moments, including a couple of last leg deciders, which saw him take out ton-topping checkouts. And McCarthy just needs a win here, and he will go through. Talking you through the action in this one, then, it is back to Laura and Henry.
Thank you very much, Murph. James Buckby's finals night live hinges on a result here. Up against Josh McCarthy, back here after a 3-year absence. And they do say sometimes that absence makes the dart grow fonder. And possibly some of the best darts he's ever played in this building has been after a hiatus from the Super Series. Last time we saw him here was back in 2023. He was a mainstay back at the previous studio in the previous incarnation of the Live League in Southampton. But times are different. The game moves on, life moves
Thank you,
on.
ladies and gentlemen. First leg, James
And
2
he's
for
just
row
enjoying
first. Game
a
on.
bit of a mini renaissance. Qualified through the vault in February, and now at the end
60.
of May is hoping to enjoy a career salad day. And the situation is rather simplistic. Win this, and he's through to the
100.
semis. Although situations like that are much easier said than done.
Yeah, it's a less
134.
complicated permutation than what we've sometimes had here at the Super Series. But for Buckby, he's already had a game up on the stage. Yes, he probably would have been disappointed because he had chances
60.
to get a couple more legs against Archie Self, ended up losing 4 legs to 1. Whereas McCarthy, this is his first time out in front of a crowd.
95.
As mentioned previously, it's his 3rd appearance, but it's the first time he's made it through to finals night.
Which, when we were delving through the stats, means Scott Mitchell, as we were on Thursday morning,
60.
came as a bit of a surprise because we know how good Josh is. And as I say, back in the previous studio in Southampton at the then Live League,
140.
always mixing it. And at that time, you had to mix it because you had the best in the amateur game week in, week out. You were pretty much at that time littered with the top 32 of the Challenge Tour.
140. Change to require 72.
Buckby with the first chance to chalk up a leg. It's tops for 72
52.
and it drops low.
Joshua require 141.
So McCarthy here looking at 141 for the break. It's not going to get. Now, Buckby missed 6 opportunities at the outer ring in his
88.
4-1 defeat
James, you
to
require 20.
Archie Self in the opener. He cannot let opportunities pass him by here. And this is a gilt-edged chance.
No score.
But a gilt-edged chance which comes and
Joshua
goes.
require 53.
McCarthy has got the biggest share of the audience tonight. So if this goes, expect a bit of a ripple.
Game showing the first leg.
Yeah, and there you hear that crowd, that support for Josh McCarthy.
Second leg, Josh.
If there's any criticism of Buckby's game,
on.
yes, we know that he can bring out the big scores. I mean, 15 180s, had a couple of ton plus checkouts, but he's got the lowest checkout percentage of anyone in tonight's field. And he missed those chances, as you've mentioned, against Archie Self, and he's missed chances to hold his throw in a match that he has to win.
85.
Josh McCarthy finding the first 180.
140.
Well, McCarthy's come out the traps firing here, hasn't he?
100.
Really beginning to get into his groove. 81 left after 9. He got the break in the opener.
76.
Had to rely on Buckby missing
Joshua
4 opportunities and a
81.
double. But in this leg, it's easy street. Doesn't have to look across to the 12s, which is why you look at the treble 10 to even
41.
double 16. But we'll come back for double top when he comes back.
Yeah,
60.
sensible play from Josh McCarthy.
Joshua require 40.
Couple of flyers for tops. Does tidy it up.
James, you require
Buckby back
140.
on 140.
Well, hope he's not stung. But that is sat perfectly for another double 10.
120.
Just wonder if that was released just a little
Joshua
bit too
require
quickly there from
32.
James.
It's the adrenaline, isn't it? You find those first 2 trebles and you're just willing, hoping for it to go in.
James
But
showing the second leg.
no mistake this time from McCarthy.
And remember, one more leg for
Third leg,
McCarthy
James
will
to
guarantee
row
Archie
first.
Self's place in the
Game on.
semi-finals. James Buckby's experiences here at the Super Series have been positive in the past. This might be the first time he's come to a Saturday and maybe
100.
feel as if things haven't quite gone to plan.
He was runner-up, wasn't he, in Series 13 and the week that he participated in. But I do wonder sometimes if that brings a
26.
different kind of pressure to a player. The fact that you've come here, you've had success, and you want to taste that again and again, that it's not always possible. Obviously, this is a really tough field for anybody.
100.
It's that expectation, isn't it? And last time out, with the greatest of respect, he didn't have any. He came in as a last-minute invite to play.
96.
Got through by the skin of his teeth, was kind of riding his luck a little bit. Played Neil Duff in the final, and look, we know what Neil's record's like here, particularly when it comes
55.
to finals.
Yeah, not too bad at all, is it, Neil Duff?
Just the 7.
96.
In fact, because he won in week 2, the 10 weeks between that and the beginning of Champions Week is probably the longest gap that we haven't seen him here for.
58.
Yeah, indeed. He is a very much a familiar face here at the Super Series, but this is good from Buckby.
159.
Oh, very good indeed. Great setup play. But already Buckby has had 5 chances at the outer ring. Finds himself 2-0 down, and in theory he could have been 2-0 up.
James, you require 24.
To get himself back into the contest.
James,
So he
on
finds
the third
himself
leg.
in exactly
James
the same
Buckby.
position in which he did against Archie Self in
Fourth
the
leg,
opener.
Josh to Farouk
He lost the first 2
Come
legs, got himself back in it at 2-1. Only problem is, to return to terms, he has to get the break of Josh
60.
McCarthy. And ideally, he could do it winning this game 4-2, rattling off the last 3, because it opens up 2 different types of permutations. Remember, if McCarthy wins 1 more, Archie Self will be into the semi-finals. If Buckby does win 1 more leg, then there'll be no 9-dart shootout in this group.
50.
Perfect lie for the first start. Looking to fill it up.
140.
I imagine would settle for a 140.
Just beginning to grow into things here, James. Which means McCarthy's just got to watch himself a little bit.
140.
6 from here to get himself back on level terms. Have a look at the
57.
17s. And that leaves himself on 164 after 9.
That's a good response from Buckby, and a leg that
100.
is
James, you require
imperative.
164.
He wins.
Perfectly tapped for another. Gets it. Bullseye.
139.
Just clips the wire.
Josh, you require 151.
Really good effort. But that'll feel like scant consolation if McCarthy finds the 151.
And we spoke about it earlier. McCarthy has been the player that, when his
94.
opponent is sat
James, you require
in or
25.
around a double, he's been able to punish with big 3-figure outs, but
James
not on
on
this
the fourth
occasion.
leg.
And Buckby levels
James
at 2-all.
Buckby.
Levels, you devils, with a
Fifth leg,
14
James
darter.
to Farouk first. Game on.
And all of a sudden, from 2-0 down, Buckby's managed to put it back on throw. Now just needs to try and use that advantage.
59.
But it was interesting when you spoke to Josh McCarthy earlier that he said he kind of felt like he could win from any position this time round. That's where his extra bit of confidence has come from, that he can find himself behind, he can be in front, but he's still confident that no matter what, he's
57.
going to win.
And what I like about James's attitude is, I think at 2-0 down, we both had a look at one another and we're beginning to
100.
worry about him a little bit, that things could go very south very quickly. And it's not as if Josh has dropped his level too much. Yes, there has been a little bit of a
43.
receding level of performance. But it's been nothing too dramatic. It's just been James has done the right things at the right times.
100.
Yeah, I think for James Buckby in particular, though, my concern was just the missed darts in those first couple of legs and just how much that might play on his mind, considering that, you know, it was very similar in his opening match, but
41.
Shows the real strength of character to be able to bounce back.
I said it on Thursday night. There's a player.
100.
There is a player in this kid. Where that level takes him to, I don't quite know yet, but I don't think we've seen anywhere near the finished article with James Buckby yet.
140. James require
And it's interesting as well because he's come through a different route to what most dart players are coming through, a route that is being more and more considered, and that's the university dart scene.
And that's changed a lot. Because I can tell you now, I went to university just before COVID, and there was not a thing
78
in terms of darts as a society or anything like that. Probably helped by the rise of Luke Littler, probably helped post-COVID as well. Be interesting to see how many more players around his age come through as a result of it.
142.
It's more misses at the doubles for Buckby, which means McCarthy can punish, but won't find the 142 to do so.
102. James, you require 20.
This time there's urgency, where maybe there was points in the last couple of legs there wasn't for James Buckby.
Game show on the 5th leg.
Pressure
James
makes
Buckby.
diamonds. The young man leads 3-2. And all of a sudden,
6th leg, Josh
this auditorium's got a little bit quieter. The McCarthy fans are beginning to get a little bit concerned.
60.
Yeah, it's great to see that so many have travelled over from Swindon to support Josh McCarthy. You've got to say, it is a little bit of a hotbed of darts in the southern region.
Yes. 2 Swindonians took part in this year's ADC Global Final. Jack Tweddle, the newly crowned champ, and the runner-up, Johnny Haynes.
125.
Who I've been told is in the crowd tonight.
97.
Can't see where, but I've been told he is.
60.
Either that or we've mistook him for another random bold man.
60.
You said that, Henry, not me. I'm not being associated with that comment. Oh, but this is good from McCarthy.
140.
Supporters will like that.
116 to get himself back on terms, and he may have to take it.
140. Josh require
A reminder,
116.
Josh McCarthy's still got to play Archie Self, so if he loses this game, he really would be in a world of trouble. And ironically, if he took that out, he would have sent Archie Self through.
James, you require 64.
Double 16 for the bash, and it is Buckby that gets across the line, 4 legs to 2. It was all about Josh McCarthy in those first couple of legs, but James Buckby found a way, started finding those doubles with more regularity, and it is James that comes out a 4-2 winner, just over a 90 average, a real quality affair between the two. And after the break, we see Kurt Parry take on Jelle Classen.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where James Buckby has thrown himself a lifeline. Backed into a corner, win or go home against Josh McCarthy, and he delivered when it mattered the most. The little winning run for Josh McCarthy is over, and it comes at the worst possible time. And that's because Josh McCarthy in his final game has to take on the unbeaten player this week in Archie Self. That's going to be the last game of Group 2, but attention now turns to Group 1. The final game in that, nothing is settled yet, and Kurt Parry takes on Jelle Classen. So here we go then. A big matchup between these two players. And another interested party watching in the practice room as well, in the form of George Killington. For Kurt Parry, if he gets to 3 legs in this match, that will be enough. He will go through. Jelle Classen must win 4-0 or 4-1 to qualify. And if it is 4-2 in Classen's favour, then it will be a 9-dart shootout. Fancy that? I'm sure Henry and Laura do. Over to you guys.
Absolutely. All the drama. That's what we want on this Saturday night. That's what the paying public want on this Saturday night. Packed out to the rafters. The live lounge in Portsmouth once again, just like it was last week. And they've already seen some superb stuff this evening. It kicked off with that 156 checkout from Jelle Classen in the very first leg of the night. But that seemingly was as good as it got for the Cobra, losing out 4-2 to George Killington. Kurt Parry winning by that score, which is why the 9-dart shootout is still on the table. And as far as Kurt was concerned,
95.
He didn't pull up any trees in that game, but it was just good enough, efficient enough. Killington missed a few opportunities at a double, and he was kind of there
60.
when it mattered.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Kurt's done so far this week. Yes, Friday it was a bit of an off day, but he'd done so much damage on the Thursday that he already basically had 1 foot into the finals night anyway. But this could be just a different kind of challenge, because we saw some very good stuff from Jelle Classen in his first match, but he just tailed off as the game got a bit deeper.
Recovery following a poor dart one, leaves himself a 1-4-1. First tour finish, but Classen looking to apply handy pressure.
$75.
Just trying to bring the ball into play.
$65. Jelle, you require 138.
We've already seen a 138 taken today. James Wade, duly obliging against Dave Chisnell on the
54.
European Tour, but Classen isn't going
76.
to take out the greatest finish of all time himself. Double top for Parry.
36. Jelle, you require 84.
Animation from Kurt Parry, because Classen is there ready to pounce. It's the ball.
59.
Clips the wire.
Jelle, you require 40.
But in these situations, a miss is as good as a mile. It's double 5.
Game show on the first leg.
I bailed him out a couple of times yesterday, that double 5 for Kurt Parry, and it's done exactly the same for him there.
Second leg, Jelle to Faro first. Game on.
Why do I get the sense, Laura, it's one of those evenings which
43.
Hasn't been poor by any stretch of the imagination, but we're still waiting for that one moment or that one performance to really stand out amongst the others.
Yeah, it feels like I think most players, and we've mentioned it already, but they all sense that there's an opportunity.
93.
I think it was Kurt maybe that said there's sometimes when you come into these finals nights, there's a name or two that really just stand out among the crowd, whereas with this particular group and what we've seen from them all week, there hasn't
66.
been one particular player that you could really point out, and I think that's what we're seeing in the final.
We had a similar situation in Group C yesterday afternoon where the 6 players on paper, there wasn't really too much by way of a separating factor, and as a consequence of it, we saw 1 or 2 really nervy games, and we're just getting that same
95.
sort of scenario begin to appear this evening.
$171.
Well, that is as good as a max.
100. Kurt, you require 94.
So 94 for 2-zip, double top.
Game shot on the second leg.
Clean
Kurt
as a whistle for Kurt Parry. And that means
third leg, Kurt to
if he
throw
picks
first.
up one more leg, he is
Come on.
into the semi-finals.
And what I will say with Kurt Parry tonight, he looks
58.
like he is playing with that rhythm that is conducive to seeing some of the best starts he can throw.
100.
Yeah, this is a complete compare and contrast to last night, where things just went wrong a little bit towards the end.
58.
Forget backs, and that is exactly what
134.
Kurt Parry's doing here.
Yeah, and it's also what Jelle Classen needs to do.
Well, for Jelle Classen, the best case scenario for him now is a 9-dart shootout. Has to win or fall for that to happen.
92.
Yeah, needs to find perfection from here on in. And that is a bit of a slip already from Jelle.
60.
Decided to persevere, couldn't find a big treble, so Klassen's got 6 to get 1 back on the board.
86. $58.
Well,
Yellow, you require
massive
89.
opportunity for Classen here to get one of the 4 legs that he needs to force a 9-dart shootout. And it's the ball.
41. Kurt, you require 140.
He's unable to oblige. This is to send Kurt Parry and George Killington into the semi-finals, and that would have been
108.
some way to have done it.
Yellow, you require 48.
Yeah, and Classen, they're nodding in the background after that first start. I think he thought that was in.
Game shot on the
But
third
it was a
leg.
reprieve, and
Yellow
one that
card.
Classen has taken. It's a break back, and he's now throwing to level things up.
Fourth leg, Yellow
The
to
Cobra
throw first.
is
Game on.
clinging on by his fingertips.
81. $95. $123.
And that'll be a point of frustration for Yellow, because that first start just looked like the perfect lie, and then it's just quite a lot of movement, obviously, in the throw
85.
for Classen now. Readjusts well with the last.
59. $139.
Classen, in terms of winning legs, has to be perfect from this point onwards. You sense in this leg, in terms of the darts he throws, has to be
83.
perfect from this point onwards. Leads himself on a finish, but it is a big one.
30.
But
Yellow, you require
that
155.
is a bit of a disaster for Kurt Parry. Would have liked to have applied some more pressure,
43.
but Classen cannot
Kurt,
find
you
any
require
answers.
152.
Another opportunity to send himself and George Killington into the semi-finals. In Classen in survival mode, but that miss into the single one stopped a finishing opportunity right from the start.
69. Kurt, you require 92.
Shake of the head tells you everything you need to know, because it's 2 for Parry. Double 16.
76.
Wrong bed.
Yellow, you require 43.
Classen is still afloat, but just.
11.
But that could well be the
Kurt,
end
you
of it for
require
the Cobra.
16. Game shot on the
Because
fourth
Kurt
leg.
Parry is
Kurt
through. And with him, George Killington.
Fifth leg, Kurt to throw first. Game on. 180.
Such a simple reaction. That motion from Kurt
41.
Parry when he just pulls the dart back, lets it go, does it on repeat.
Well,
140.
he went 7 into the 9 on Thursday night. Couldn't go any further with that particular attempt, but he is going to get one step further in terms of the tournament, through to another semi-final.
96. Kurt, you require 81.
It would be a 5th semi-final appearance in this format.
61.
But he will have to wait, but he's got plenty of time. Classen looking to set up a finish.
64. Kurt, you require 20.
To wrap it up. It's been a solid display. It hasn't been spectacular.
10.
And it hasn't been
Yellow,
done yet.
160.
I needed another one in there.
81. Kurt, you require 10.
2 5s again.
Game
For
shot
this time
and
it is
a match.
got Kurt Parry's into the final 4. And that, the supporters club. A very happy supporters club. It's been rather solid, if not spectacular, for Kurt Parry so far. But he finds himself into the final 4. Courtesy of a 4-1 success against Yellow Clatter, for whom tonight just did not go to plan whatsoever. Our final group game is a meeting between Josh McCarthy and Archie Self, and that's coming up on the other side of this short break.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. It's finals night and Kurt Parry is still going strong. That the winning double that saw him go through and Jelle Classen, the former world champion, exit the tournament. Parry into the semis along with George Killington, who goes through with him from Group 1. The Welshman still waiting for that first title, but maybe tonight will be the night. Confirmation of that result. A 4-1 win for Parry over Jelle Classen means that Classen goes home, Parry and Killington go through, and now attention turns back to Group 2. And in this final match between Josh McCarthy and Archie Self, this is what is needed for each player. So Josh McCarthy, well, he has to win this game. If he doesn't, he is out. Archie Self, after a brilliant start to the night, needs just one leg to qualify. And James Buckby, watching on in the practice room, he will go through if Archie Self gets to win in this one, or if Josh McCarthy upsets the odds and wins the game 4-0. So without further ado, let's see who goes through and who heads home with Jelle Classen. Still all to play for, and Henry Deacon and Laura Turner will talk you through the action.
Indeed it is. Everybody's still in the mix, no matter how likely or how unlikely it may seem that they're going to be playing in the semi-finals, which means so far only one player has been eliminated going into the final group match of the night, and that player being Jelle Classen, the 2006 BDO World Champion. Which means in terms of experience in that department, there's not another former world champion left in the senior department. Archie Self, former Lakeside Youth champion. But it's also no weekly winners left in the field, because Jelle was the only player to won one of these.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, Josh
to Saturday night.
Game on.
Which means a new name is guaranteed to be in Champions Week come the middle of July.
60.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Henry, but from what I've seen tonight, I can still make an argument for everyone that's left in the field. To say Josh
59.
McCarthy does have his work cut out here against Archie Self, who has yet to lose a match this week.
You know, sometimes at the halfway point of the evening, either me or Murph will ask, what have we learnt? The truth is, so far, we've learnt next to nothing.
We've learnt that they're all very good at playing darts, and they're pretty much all capable of beating one another. It's just been those key chances. Some have been able to take them and some haven't.
$30.
Well, imagine being James Buckby in the practice room, hoping for the seemingly impossible to
96.
become a possibility. At any moment, he might be ready to pack his
84.
bags. He's either hoping Josh McCarthy goes crazy,
58.
or Archie Self
Josh require
can
147.
get over the line. It's such a weird, complex conundrum.
Yeah, and it's the worst position to be is when you're sat in the back, when there's nothing that you can physically do about it.
131. Archie require 167.
And because of the turnaround, he'll be preparing for a match that he may not ever play. Because if he finishes second in the group, which is going to be the likely scenario which
Josh
James comes
16.
through in, he'll have to prepare to play in the first semi-final.
McCarthy trying to work his way in. He was going the right direction, but
Archie
not quite
require
enough.
110.
Double 18.
Game shot on the
That's
first
superb.
leg.
Archie Self
Archie
began his
Self.
first game for 146 checkout. He kicks off game 2 with a 110.
Second leg, Archie to throw first. Game on.
And with that solitary leg, Archie Self is into the
60.
semi-finals.
He's just got this level of composure that is beyond his years. we have mentioned the things that he has won, including the Boys World Championships at Lakeside.
180.
This is getting a bit scary now.
Well, you said it yourself, Henry, that you just felt like this group, the way it has been played out so far tonight, it's
55.
open for one player to really put in that stellar performance and take control of things.
And for Archie, it'd be a big step in the right
55.
direction, because a lot of the things that we talk about, they're in youth competitions. This would be the first time we talk about him doing something tangible in the senior game.
139.
McCarthy, with that 139, does leave himself on a finish. But Archie is going to leave himself
174.
on double 16 after 12. The 167 had to go, it doesn't. And Self here with an
82.
opportunity to put himself 2 in front.
Archie, you require 32.
This would mean he'd top the group.
Game shot on a second.
Well,
Archie
the
Self.
13 dart hold a throw for Archie Self.
Third leg, Josh to throw first.
And
Game
you
on.
see, by way of qualifying top of the group, he also gets to throw first in the semi-final.
62.
Yeah, Archie's just starting to make a few inroads, isn't he, in when it comes to senior tournaments. Made a semi-final in this year
96.
at the Challenge Tour. And that's no easy feat.
Particularly this year, where
100.
you've got the likes of Joe Hunt, Derek Coulson in there. But actually behind that, a lot of things have been rather spread out.
$96.
And because he turned 16 just before Christmas, a lot of the things that he's doing in terms of Challenge
60.
Tour, Dev Tour, they're things he's doing for the first time. There's a lot of new things to learn, but a lot of exciting new
117.
opportunities. Although I missed stray with the last means, an opportunity to finish the leg off of his next turn is off the cards.
$58.
Yeah, but McCarthy here on throw, again on the back foot.
100.
And that's a big last dart from Archie Self.
But Josh McCarthy's worked so hard just to get to Saturday night. He'll probably feel as if everything that went so right in Group C is going so wrong here. $79 left. That leaves tops. And that puts Archie Self 3-0 to the goods. And seemingly too good right now.
Fourth leg,
He
Archie
is
to
in
throw
a
first.
league of his own.
Game on.
And Josh McCarthy can just only smile in the background.
Yeah, Archie Self at the moment looking at the performance of the
93.
evening, but it's the finishing. He's had the 110. He's 3 from 3 on the outer ring. Josh McCarthy just restricted to 3 solitary darts at double.
140.
He's plugging away. And full kudos to him for that.
119.
You know, you get it with some players that when they know they've qualified, that bit of adrenaline kind of that dies off because you can't always manufacture it because you know you've just done the job you need to do. I think the complete
100.
opposite is happening here with Archie. I think he's just getting better now he knows that the job's done.
The enthusiasm of youth.
59.
If he was to win tonight, he'd be the second 16-year-old to win a week here at the Super Series. You'd never have heard of the other one.
Yeah, I don't know where he ended up. Isn't it Luke, someone?
Well, put it this way, we've not seen him
41.
here for years.
No. Such an inviting first start. Follows it up with his second maximum.
Average in excess of 101. performance of the night, bar none. Josh McCarthy's played well in this game. He's averaged just under 94. He's missed a few darts at a double. He sinks his head because he expects the game to be up.
30.
Well, they're the first misses at a double for Archie Self. And McCarthy is in a position to pounce.
Simply put, has to take to stay in the competition.
75.
And that should be curtains.
Archie require 20.
Such a good guide and used to perfection as Archie Self wins out 4-0 against Josh McCarthy. It's the best performance that we've seen so far this evening, averaging in excess of 95 for Archie Self, but it was a finishing masterclass. Just a few missed to get across the line, but there is the tail of the tape, and that is Archie Self confirmed into the semi-finals as the winner of Group 2.
Welcome back to finals night here at the Modus Super Series, live and free on Pluto TV. This is what happened in the group stages, and it went down to the death in both groups, but it was Jelle Classen and Josh McCarthy who had to bow out after heavy defeats in their final group games. And it's Archie Self who was a standout performer of those group stages, as he has been, it has to be said, all week so far here at the Live Lounge. He takes on George Killington in the second semi-final tonight, whereas Kurt Parry, still looking for that first title here, takes on James Buckby in the first. Well, Laura's come from the commentary box to chat about what we've seen, and I mean, there is nowhere else to start than where we started earlier on tonight with Archie Self, because his performances have just been mesmerising, haven't they?
He's just dropped one leg, continuing with his winning ways. Just grew into the evening as well. Yes, it was a comfortable first win, but then just kind of raised the level once again against Josh McCarthy. The finishing has been on point. In the last match, he was 3 from 3, a couple of missed just to get across the line. But yeah, he's definitely been the standout performer tonight.
Yeah, whenever we have a young player, it's kind of in the back of my mind, don't compare to Luke Littler, don't compare to Luke Littler. But the one thing that we discussed at the start of the show was that maturity. And he's come into a finals night looking like the senior statesman, and that's exactly what Luke did when he was here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that first leg against McCarthy, I think, kind of typified what you're talking about, because McCarthy missed a couple of darts at double. Archie's back on 110, which is not a given, and takes it, and it's just so composed. And he said himself that he feels comfortable up on the stage, but he's looking confident as well, and that's a really dangerous combination, because the one thing I will say about young players is they're fearless, absolutely fearless. They don't carry the scars, perhaps, of some of the more experienced ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who else has impressed you tonight? The story's not written yet, is it? Who's going to cause him a problem or two?
I think Kurt's played quite well as well. Consistent. He's done more than enough to find his way through, his group stage, and he's topped that group. He said himself yesterday it wasn't going to plan, so wasn't quite sure what version of Kurt was turning up tonight. But he's had big scores, he's had big finishes, so Kurt is there. But everyone in the field, I can make an argument for.
On Kurt, how much does that hang over you, that having not done it quite yet, not gone all the way yet, because the talent is unquestionable, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And to do it not just in regulation weeks, but to do it in an ADC tournament and do it twice in the international pairs, yeah, he knows his record here. He's going to want to come back at one point where we don't ask the question, oh, is it going to be this week? But ultimately, he knows it's a tough field once again. He's going to have to get past he's going to have to get past the semi-final, but then he's going to have to try and make it past the final for the first time. It must hang over you. It really must.
We asked the question about George Killington earlier. How would you respond to his last finals night, where he had a bit of a horror show? He responded pretty well, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was so much more animated than what we saw here last time. When he started winning those legs, you could see the belief just building as the games were going on. Some really big celebrations, trying to fire himself up. And yeah, just this first win, because he was up against Yella in the first match, and he had to really, really dig deep to get past him. 1-4-2 in the end, and took out some real clutch finishes. But ultimately, it's still going to be really tough. But it's great to see him back here and actually winning on finals night.
And then James Buckby, he had to do it kind of a completely different way, didn't he? Having had a slow start, he comes and puts in a great performance in his second game.
Yeah, he had the awkward waiting game in the back room, didn't he? But ultimately, yeah, it was the 4-2 win over Josh McCarthy, because he was another one. He was in trouble, and Henry and I kind of shot each other a look when he went 2-0 down in that match, and just wondered, missed a few darts at doubles once again. Can he recover? And I think that just shows this real mental fortitude, that you can find yourself in a bit of trouble, dig yourself out of it, and now you're in the semi-final.
A word on the players that didn't make it. Yella Classen, I mean, he started the night with that stunning 156 checkout, but that was as good as it got, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was realistically the highlight for Classen, and you just thought he was going to build up from that. He did go into a couple of legs lead against George, but then was just pegged back. And I guess one of the questions that Henry actually posed was, as games go deeper, does it get a bit more difficult for Yella at the moment? Because he's spoken about that he's in discomfort and pain as he's playing, so maybe that played a bit of a part.
And Josh McCarthy as well, he showed flashes, didn't he? He's got a lot of support here tonight. He played really well yesterday. There were just moments where games got away from him.
Yes, and it was kind of that first outing for him. James had already played up on the stage at that point. Josh was fresh out. Again, it was a really strong start. Was pegged back once again. And then you're facing Archie Self, who, as we've spoken about, has been playing some of the best darts that we've seen from any player this week. So it was always going to be a difficult task from that point.
Right, 4 players left then this week, but we'll get a full quota of 12 in from Monday morning.
And he didn't want to see that either, but he's missed too many of them.
Double top for the match, double top for the win.
For the ball. Oh, what a way.
Well then.
Double 8. He missed it last time. He's pinned it this time.
Oh, lovely stuff.
16 leaves in double 18. Clear target of AMAC, clear target found.
Oh, Andy.
Still got it.
It's going to have to be with Dart 2. Finds the treble 17. It's double top for 111 to win it.
John Anderson.
Yeah, another superb week in prospect. A fair bit of Highland flinging coming up. John Henderson making his return to the Live Lounge along with fellow Scots Andy Davidson and Scott Campbell. Danny Lowby from the USA in Group 8 with the likes of Tommy Morris. So there's going to be some rapid darts there. Ashley Coleman also one to watch later in the week as a speedster. And Steve Green is writing his own story here at the Modus Super Series of late. Another stacked week, Laura.
Yeah, and it's what we expect here now. And I will put it out there right now. Underestimate Steve Green at your peril, because he has been superb the last couple of times he's been here. So really, really tough one to call. But again, it's going to be another exciting one.
Yeah, it should be good to see John Henderson back here as well. Haven't seen him for a little while, but he's always competitive on that stage, isn't he?
Well, you know, what do we say? You know, no Hendo, no party, where we absolutely love it when he comes back here to the Live Lounge. And he comes with expectation. Obviously, we know what he's done. He's a World Cup winner for Scotland, and he has that reputation and does tend to deliver when he comes here.
Scotland World Cup winners. Could we be saying that again? I don't think so, do you? Right, let's look ahead to what's going on tonight at the Super Series. Finals night, semi-finals are about to take place, and Kurt Parry will take on James Buckby in the first of them before Archie Self takes on George Killington. I mean, we'll start with the second one actually, Laura, because the question is, how can Self be stopped?
He's looking very difficult to stop at the moment, but we know the quality and the calibre that George has, 100%. It's another game. It's definitely knockout now. There are no second chances. George has had a much better campaign, so he's obviously feeling much better up on the stage. But Archie, as we've said, he's just been that informed player. So if he can replicate, then George is going to have to up the level.
In a strange way, it kind of might be the time to play. It might, as you say, it is knockout. There are no second chances. That applies to him as well. If Killington can turn it on and Self doesn't maintain the level he has for, 10 games now this week, then there's no second chances.
It's a race to 4 as well. It is quite a short course format compared to what a lot of these players play away from the Super Series. So that's another element that you can consider, that if you can just get that early break and then build on it, hold your throw from that point, then ultimately, yeah, you can get across the line. No one in this format is unbeatable. But as we said, Archie is just the player that has just found that high level of consistency. If he doesn't play to the same level, then absolutely, George is more than capable of winning.
Interesting first one, Kurt Parry against James Buckby. Kurt has that knack of getting to finals, but not yet of winning them here. As for James Buckby, Henry asked him in his interview earlier, he's got that linear sort of progression, semi-final, runner-up. He might feel it's his night tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that he didn't have the most straightforward way of going through the group, as you might say, because it came right the way down to waiting in that last match, he may just think, right, okay, got nothing to lose here. Let's go up there and play my absolute best, because we know with Kurt, we know what he can do when he's absolutely flying and he's at the top, but do the cogs start turning? Do you start thinking, right, one more game, then I'm in the final again? So there could be kind of a few things going on in the mind of Kurt Parry that mean that James, if he can play in the way that he has done, he was very good in that win that he got in the group stages, he could also get across the line. Honestly, I can make a case for all of them. I'm definitely fence sitting.
I might not even ask you to predict. Let's just remind you who's definitely through to Champions Week already then. After tonight, we'll have a third of the field, of course. And Michael Huntley and Neil Duff in the first couple of weeks. Last week, Henry Coates really kind of blew the field away. And does it feel like a similar kind of feeling tonight so far, the way that Archie Self has gone about his business?
100%. From what we've seen so far, not just tonight, but actually throughout the week, then, yeah, you can't not consider Archie as being one of the names that he was favourite going into tonight, and he's played like the favourite as well. So if he maintains that, then, yeah, the rest of the field are going to have to really up their levels. So it could be, you've got a couple of experienced ones from week 1 and 2, and we could have a couple of the young guns coming from 3 and 4.
Decent audience in tonight as well. The venue, it's been mentioned, it's quite hot, not in our luxurious surroundings, of course, but down there on the stage, I mean, you've played on it in the summer, it does get hot. Can that affect players more as the evening goes on?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when the pressure builds, because obviously then you kind of tend to feel the heat a little bit more than what you would do when you're just playing kind of a round robin match. So there is that element, and you can perspire, your hands can get a bit, just feel a bit clammier than they normally do. So there are a few elements, but everyone's playing in the same set of circumstances. And as players, we all would have experienced this at one point. It may not be the most comfortable at times, but you have to deal with it.
Yeah, they've all got 3 darts in the hand, and I'm going to let you off the hook. You've already said you fence it, so what's the point in asking, eh? It is time for the semi-finals. Let's get the action back underway.
2-5s again. For this time it is got Kurt Parry's into the final 4. And that, the supporters club. A very happy supporters club.
Double 16 for the bash, and it is Buckby that gets across.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It's time to meet the semi-finalists. Would you please welcome to the stage, he's a former Red Dragon Champion of Champions winner. It's Kurt Parry, and his opponent is a former Modus Super Series weekly runner-up, James Buckby.
So here we go then, the final 4 in action at finals night, and the first semi-final about to get started between Kurt Parry and James Buckby. After the walk-on, introduced to the stage by the MC Owen Binks, a Premier League referee. Of course, Owen Binks now our Super Series referee for this one is Andrew Culling, and he will be presiding over Parry, the 32-year-old, twice a weekly runner-up, taking on James Buckby, who's got that silver medal himself once before as well. Laura's returned to the commentary box, where she joins Henry Deacon.
Thank you very much, Murph. And so these two former weekly finalists looking to return to the big match. For Kurt Parry, it was plain sailing. It felt in his group. 2 victories, 4-2 against George Killington and 4-1 against Yellow Classen, respectively. And it was certainly a case of being solid without spectacular foot. For James Buckby, when he had to rely on a favour from Archie Self to see him into the final 4.
99.
Luckily for him, Archie did do that favour, won 4-0 rather comprehensively. In terms of his 2 games, James lost 4-1 to Archie Self at his opener. Before then, getting 59. The better Josh McCarthy by 4 legs to 2, averaging just over the 90 mark, despite missing 10 darts at a double in this contest.
96.
But now we head to the knockout stuff. And I just wonder, and yes, I know James has made a weekly final before, but for somebody 49. Like Kurt Parry, who's been there, seen it, done it, whether these situations maybe suit him just that little bit better.
139.
Yeah, you can't knock the experience. You can't count it out, can you? Kurt Parry, he knows how to negotiate these nights. He knows how to negotiate group stages. But he'll know not to underestimate anybody in this field. And it's plays like that is one of the reasons why the adrenaline would have been there. You want to go for the 167. When it's on, you want to go for it, but it's the sensible option to make sure that it gives you the best opportunity 43. To win the leg.
Kurt, you require 70.
I didn't actually have to lay it up for the 167 he didn't want to. And he doesn't have to go 19, believe it.
44.
However, that double 14 leaves himself double 13. But Buckby has not got out the traps at all.
138. Kurt, you require 26.
That's to earn a dart, finds the single 1 and finds the double 6.
Kurt Parry.
From what? Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, that reaction tells you everything you need to know, because what was looking like a rather straightforward leg got a little bit messy towards the tail end.
Yeah, those 4 people on the front row is Kurt's family and friends as Buckby pars in a max, which includes a gentleman on the front row, which I went to university with.
It is a small world, right?
It is a very small world. However, what happened at university will stay at university.
I think what I've liked about this evening more than anything else, there seems to be, there's pretty much support for everyone. There is the Parry supporters, but that's quite nice. There seems to be a bit of a balance. I know for Yellow perhaps not quite so much, because obviously he's come from the Netherlands, but for everyone else, they've got some support out there in the crowd.
140.
And I think for Kurt, that's his right blend of support, because there's people there, but it's not over the top. This would be a top draw finish, but Double 10 just moves on the inside.
Yeah, not the first time this evening. Buckby's missed the 140 out. But Parry wasn't in a position
60.
to pounce, so...
James, you require 10.
Double 5 for Buckby to level it up. 2 great guides. Yeah, that is right on the wire.
James
and used to perfection. That is not an easy find when you got 2 that close.
Third leg, Kurt to throw first.
Back on level terms, and all of a sudden, this best of 7 leg semi-final becomes a best of 5 leg affair.
180.
Parry finds his first max of this semi-final. First semi-final of 2.
100.
That's 4. That's 5. And that's 6. And he's on it again, just like he was on Thursday night.
60. Kurt, you require 141.
But he can't find treble number 7. But the setup is beautiful for Kurt Parry.
Well, he may not get the 9, but a potential 10's in the offing.
100.
And James Buckby has just got to put this leg to the back of his mind. Nothing really could have done about that. But the problem is, the legs are running out for the young man. Parry's halfway there.
4th leg, James to throw first.
2-1, 2 more needed.
Yeah, just look at how this game has progressed. Start with an 18 for Parry, a 15 for Buckby, but a 10 for Parry.
121.
And Buckby there was threatening to kick it off. Leg number 4 with a max.
He's scoring like a dream.
180.
I said before, you don't normally see too much reaction from Kurt Parry, but I think he feels good up there. He knows he's throwing well.
60.
You know, I said earlier on, it felt like it was brewing up for a special performance. Kurt Parry is providing it here, averaging 108 just under. And not for the first time this week.
81.
James Buckby is being hit by a big performance.
But he's still
60.
well in this leg. Parry is down to a long-range finish, but Buckby, if he can find a couple of trebles.
96.
Found one. Does leave himself on a finish. You would not back against this going.
69. James, you require 143.
Cannot start the 1-4-3 finish combination, so Parry back for 92 for a breaker throw.
92.
But credit to James Buckby, he is asking those questions. Kurt Parry's averaging 103 and change, but he's not getting it his
66.
own way, not by the furthest stretch of the imagination. And not for the first time, as Kurt Parry wanted a single 14 and got the double. He got the double 13 last
11.
time, and he's going to get another look at it here. For the breaker throw, which have put him in a leg of another final.
And again, he's got inside. Single 1 was the MO last time for double 6, but
20.
cannot find the combination this time.
James, you require 32.
Buckby has missed 5 darts at the outer ring, but he's been let off here. But you feel this really does have to go.
James on the
That's such a big dart, and such a courageous dart in equal measure. A lot of people would have folded in that scenario, but Buckby was up to the task. And now we are down to a best of 3, a format that Kurt
97.
Parry knows as well as any other player on the planet, because it was over that format in which he won that Champion of Champions title
60.
4 years ago now, incredibly.
Yeah, that shake of the head from Kurt Parry.
81.
When you do leave those finishes, yeah, you do it once, it's a slip. When you do it twice, it becomes a little bit frustrating, and it did prove costly in the end, leaving double 13.
134.
And when you consider at this point at the moment, there is an 11-point gap in the average in favour of Kurt Parry because of how well he has been playing, especially
60.
on throw. Doesn't necessarily reflect the scoreline, but it is the scoreline that matters.
60.
Well, nice to see they've done some colouring in tonight.
I like the fact he had to work out which sign he wanted to put up at what point.
96.
Few on the go there.
$140. Kurt, you require 167.
Well, that 140 puts the Parry throw really under threat.
76.
In this game so far, Henry, it
James,
just
you
feels
require
like it's
107.
all been about Kurt Parry, but you have to give full credit here to Buckby. He has dug deep and he has got a chance to break the throw.
91. Kurt, you require 91.
Opportunity missed to go within 1. But he's going to get 3 more.
51.
And if he gets the break here,
James, you
he
require
throws
16.
for a place in another final. Double 4.
James on the 5th leg.
Well, there was
James
a point
Buckby.
where it felt like James Buckby was just playing pacemaker for Kurt Parry.
6th leg, James
But now the young
2-4-5.
man from Aspie de la Zouche has the darts to progress his way through to the final. His second final in as many series.
62.
Yeah, disappointing return for Buckby after finding a treble with the first start.
60.
But the slip from Buckby there, not really taken up by Kurt Parry.
Well, when you look at the averages, how many times do we
76.
talk about things meeting in the middle? It has met at a more equal kilter. And that is
48.
why this game has turned and swung on a sixpence. Parry, remember, was averaging around about 108. 3 or 4 legs in.
100.
And now they're within touching distance. 4 or 5 points in terms of averages means absolutely nothing.
No, but when you consider that
59.
Kurt Parry has had a 10 darter to make that average as it was, you can just see there's just this real drop off from Kurt, but a real pick up in the performance of James Buckby.
And the thing is, it hasn't been by
99.
much, it's just been by enough. And he now leads himself on a finish
45.
to send himself through to the
James,
final.
you require
Yeah,
164.
the Parry supporters in the background cannot look.
64.
Big visit required just to put any kind of pressure, and now Buckby has the
100.
luxury of having at least 6 darts
you
from
require
100 points.
To return him to the weekly final.
60.
2 darts have come and gone for that right.
And there is nothing Kurt Parry
59.
can do from this position.
James, you require 40.
Tops it is.
Game shot and a match.
James Buckby is a weekly finalist again. And he is hoping to go 1 step further than last time out. For Kurt Parry, it's another disappointing Saturday at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. He was flying in that game. He had a 10 darter to take the early lead. But James Buckby, to his credit, hung in there. And when the mistakes began to emerge for Kurt Parry, he capitalised. So he's the first player through to the final. We're going to find out who he's going to face in the big match after the break as Archie Self takes on George Killington. to wrap this up 4-0 in the space of about 8 minutes. 2 in hand at double 12. Only needs the one.
But this has got to be textbook and it's got to be good.
It is good, and it's got.
He doesn't falter, and somehow he sneaks that one underneath in game 6. Now that is not a promising proposition. This is though. And that is a brilliant check out from Whitlock. Hold on to your hats if you've got one. Oh, wow! What an incredible shot to stay in.
But just find a means no matter what. Well, that is the first tub clutch checkout of the night. 2 5s. Returns Henry Coates to a Super Series weekly title. Double 8 for McKee for a place in the final once more. It's there, and he's there. Richard McKee will contest the second weekly final.
Henry caught himself in glory, and it is a first weekly medal for him. He's the youngest player to make it into Champions Week by an absolute mile in Series 14. Richard McKee.
Ladies and gentlemen, your weekly winner is Triple H, Henry Coates.
Yeah, a week ago, Henry Coates booked his place in Champions Week, and be sure to put the date in your diary. It all gets underway on July the 20th, and it is live and free, as always, here on Pluto TV. And we're about an hour away from finding out who will be joining Henry at Champions Week in Series 14. James Buckby has just taken a step closer to it. Kurt Parry once again walks away from a finals night without the trophy in his hand. Buckby through to the final, and he will take on the winner of the second semi-final, Archie Self versus George Killington.
To get this wrapped up by a 4-1 scoreline. 2 9s.
Game shot.
Is found. And that is an opening win for Archie Self. Not by choice, but
shot.
executed perfectly. And George Killington gets the night off.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It's time to meet the second set of semi-finalists. Would you please welcome to the stage, he's a former 3 times PDC Development Tour winner, George Killington, and his opponent is a former Lakeside Boys Champion of the World, it's Archie Self!
Well, this match had to happen tonight, didn't it? It's been pointing towards it. Archie Self, 16 years of age and unbeaten all week so far against George Killington, of course, celebrating his birthday. The teenager looking for that big moment at the end of the night. Archie Self, can he go one better than that Series 12, Week 12 runner-up spot? Or will it be George Killington on his 30th birthday, taking the title tonight? Well, they're both a couple of games away. This is the second semi-final. James Buckby lies in wait in the decider. Will Archie carry on this crushing campaign, or will George have the killer touch? Let's find out in the company of Laura and Henry.
Yeah, who will be joining James Buckby indeed? Archie Self has been the standout player, not just of this evening, but so far of the week. But as we can see, anything can happen in a match, because that previous semi-final, Kurt Parry was absolutely flying, threatened a 9, ended up with a 10 darter, and then things just took a turn. And you have to say full credit to James Buckby, who held on in there. Well, he's the first name through. Now, for George Killington, 57. He knows that he's got a bit of a challenge on his hands, but ultimately, things can change. This is now complete knockout darts.
Well, let's hope, Laura, semi-final number 2 is going to be as good as semi-final number 1, because that was a very fun watch. Now, these two will know each other very well.
81.
In terms of the people they spend time with on tour and various things. They're both very
60.
Good friends with Steve West et al. That's why Steve and Michelle are here this evening. So these two will know each other's games inside and out, which...
26.
Is it better the devil you know than the devil you don't?
I prefer it, but ultimately it's down to the individual. And in darting terms, you can only control what you do. You cannot control what your opponent does. So you just have to make sure that you go up there, focus, and try and play your absolute best, which I know is what every player does intend to do. But there are certain players that you go up against and you think, oh, this is going to be a tough one.
Well, as the podcasting aficionados would say, play your own game.
93.
That usually is the key to success here at the Cathedral of Darts. Self looks at 64 to take the first step on his path in this semi-final.
96. Archie requires 64.
Well, both players down to a finish, but itself with a much more manageable one. And the first opportunity, it's double 16.
32. Georgia require 145.
So Killington here looking at 145. A leg which he's been second best in is not one he's going to steal with a ton topper.
Yeah, just double checking exactly what's scored. Well, 80 scored, 65 left for Killington.
105. Archie requires 32.
He's left himself on tops of the break, just in case. Just in case Archie Self does not take out this double 8.
16.
Opportunity presents itself.
Call out or talk or be loud while the players are thrown. Thank you. Georgia require 40.
Andrew Culling just sorting out a discrepancy in the crowd. Double 10.
20.
The wire.
Archie
massive
requires
opportunity
16.
for Killington. Come and gone.
No score. Georgia require 20.
Double trouble for Self in the opening leg. Have not seen much of that from Archie Self at all, and he's in the background shaking his head.
Game shot on the first leg.
Killington does not
George
need another
Killington.
invitation.
Well, that was a
Second
steal.
leg, George to Faro first. Game on.
And that is night and day in comparison to what we've seen from Archie Self at times in the group stage earlier on this evening.
Yeah, Archie Self in that's against Josh McCarthy. It was 3 from 3.
55.
At one point. 110 check out, other combination finishes, ended up 4 from 7, 57% in this match alone. He's had
58.
as many darts as it took him to beat Josh McCarthy, as he has had that one leg, 7 missed at the outer ring. And it's a different kind of perhaps adversity that Archie hasn't faced yet, because everything's been quite plain sailing, everything's been going well, so it's how you can bounce back from the disappointment of just letting the opening leg go.
The only bad thing about
96.
not losing is not knowing what it's like to be losing. Very much a first world problem.
Yeah, wild first start from Killington, but no
52.
reaction from him. Just trying to adjust.
$140.
Well, if the first semi-final was one with some pomp and brilliance, this second one, it feels like might be won by the player that's just best able to keep it together.
133.
Two real solid visits strung together for Archie Self. 140, backed up with a 133.
$61.
Double 10. Double 5.
Game shot on the second.
Eventually gets there. And just like in our previous game, the best of 7 becomes the best of 5.
First. Game on.
And that should go a long way to alleviate some of the feelings of missing all those darts in the double in the first leg for Archie Self.
93.
You can go back, bounce back, as we were saying, and just take the finish cleanly. Now back with Archie Self with that slight advantage of throwing first in the match.
140.
James Buckby awaits in the final. And I just wonder if you're James, knowing that Archie's played his best stuff against him a couple of times this week. Are you hoping to have a crack at George Killington?
Yeah, perhaps, but ultimately, you know, you can only think of yourself when it comes to the final and just take on the opponent that is there. He may feel that there's maybe some unfinished business. He was the player that ultimately came very close to beating Archie Self in those round robin stages.
However, you players definitely have preference, even if you never say.
Don't know what you mean, Henry.
Answers like that, you become a politician.
I'm giving nothing away.
70.
Well, George Killington
Archie
definitely giving away how he felt about
134.
that throw. Because again, it's now afforded time to Self.
58.
Should get at least a dart when he comes back to put himself halfway towards the final. And probably the thing that's going to irritate George Killington more than anything else is the fact that Archie Self is playing way below the level we've seen from him. Not just
76.
tonight, but this week. But he's not been able to take full advantage of it.
Game shot on the
But Archie
third
takes full advantage of
Archie
that.
Self.
Yeah, and now what you're seeing from Archie is he's playing himself back into a little bit of
Fourth leg,
form. I mean, he
George two
dominated
for
that
over.
opening leg
Game
in
on.
complete fairness. It was just missed darts at a double, but now the next two both gone the way of Archie, and it can be a bit of a long road back. Killington, you feel this leg is
60.
just... Every leg is important, but you feel this one is vital for Killington, just for the confidence to stop the little run of legs that Archie is on.
97.
Just got to stem the tide as the killer. The man from Tottenham has got to show his Spurs here. Well, that was a rather Spursy throw. Well, he certainly said something, and it turns out the way the audience reacted, he
28.
maybe have a second career as a stand-up comedian.
Well, Mitch himself just seemed to have grown into the match, and yeah, he's not looking back. It's a second maximum.
It's good to see a lot of the crowd that were here for players that have been eliminated are still here. And I reckon part of it is because
44.
they know potentially in this building they're watching a young man who could go on to darting greatness. And do you know what? The first time
57.
they may see him is here at the Live Lounge. And it was only 3 years ago that a certain Luke Littler was playing here on Saturday nights in this very building. It was only 6 months ago Charlie Manby was picking up a Champions Week here.
167.
Can't start the 1-6-7 combination.
57.
And perhaps just a tiny inkling of an opening for George Killington if he can just... That first start just keeps going slightly wayward for George, and he's having to either switch
81.
or try and adjust.
Archie require 110.
So 110. Treble 17. Gets it double top.
90.
Just drops low.
Georgia require 148.
But Killington's being forced to take things like this. That's the problem he's got. He's leaving himself a lot of work to do, but that first dart's perfect. But dart 2 is far from ideal.
81. Archie required 20.
Killington just cutting a bit of a frustrated figure on the stage. But he might get another chance. Double
15.
5 hasn't gone for Self, and it's gone the wrong way. So
Georgia
Killington looking at
67.
67.
6-7 time, everyone. Double top.
27. Archie require 5.
Well, thankfully, I'll never have to remember that existed ever again.
James
So
Shaw
that is a 3-1 lead for Archie Self, and he now has the darts for a place in the final. Gives himself a G up. He knows he hasn't played anywhere near his best, but still, he's put himself in a position to take on his old Group B nemesis, James Buckby, in the big match.
137.
Yeah, for Archie, we've mentioned how composed he's been up on the stage so far throughout this week, but in fairness, it has been when everything's been going his way. So there are a few more reactions we're seeing from him, which is understandable as you get to the back end of tournaments.
100.
He has been a runner-up here previously. He knows that he'll be facing Buckby in the final if he can win, and he knows he's got a good head-to-head record against him.
134.
Well, Killington is not giving up.
100.
If he wants to fulfill his birthday wish and to progress through the Champions Week, he is going to have to dig his heels in here.
$85. Archie require 164.
Can't get the 1-6-4 combo started. But again,
81.
Killington, yes, on a finish,
Georgia
but it's a
require
long range
147.
one because of the slips with the last 2 darts in the previous throw.
Not going to get. And so Archie Self,
131.
former weekly finalist,
Archie require 83.
is 83 points away from heading back there once again. Tops. Unable to muster.
43. Georgia requires 16.
Well, this to bring it back within 1. It looks like a good guide.
James Shaw on the
And it was
fifth.
used to perfection.
Killington.
And we are now back on throw. Killington with the opportunity
Sixth leg,
to
George
force
for
a
Rowe
last
first.
leg decider.
Come on.
Yet to have one of those this evening.
Seen a lot of 4-2s, but other than that, it's been plain sailing this evening. How many times do you
45.
see that? You do the hard work, you get it back on throw, and then you kick off troublers. You just open up the invitation
46.
for your opponent once again, and have a look at that. Off the barrel, in the bed.
Yeah, textbook, isn't it? And it ended up being a 14 dart breaker throw. But neither player really have kicked off this 6th leg
60.
in complete style.
Danny Truman, who's provided us with some real entertainment this week. Yeah, he's been a real fun
57.
character to have around the place over the course of the last 6 days, and I know that he has gone down a hit in the practice room.
Yeah, that's a better second dart for George.
100. $140.
He did well to find that second treble 20. Puts him right back in contention in this leg. He was on the back foot.
Has to stay there.
140.
And by finding the second treble, it's first to a finish. And just like semi-final number 1.
Can the person who keeps talking while the players are throwing please stop? Thank you. Both players can hear you.
Well, somebody just a little bit too enthusiastic for the liking of both players. It's a very
54.
small arena.
Georgia require 156.
And every single word can be heard.
And that's the thing, when everyone's deathly silent and glued to the action, those small little murmurs, they can get picked up on, but sometimes that's also a sign that you're not quite fully engaged in the match itself.
59. Georgia requires 62.
Well, this to take us all the way. And let's hope when we do go all the way, there'll be no further interruptions. Double top.
42.
Does not
Archie
go.
require 145.
And what a way it would be to book a place in the final. Can't find the treble 15. Sets up well, but Killington now.
Georgia require 20.
Double 10 to level things up at 3-all. Up to double 5. Wrong side of the wire means match winning chance it.
Archie require 10.
For second final.
Game shot.
Archie Self will take on James Buckby to be the next young gun into Champions Week 14. The pair have a conversation about the game they've just played and perhaps one of the flashpoints during the middle of it. All's well but ends well come the conclusion of it, and it is Archie Self who progresses his way through to the final, a 4-2 winner over George Killington. He'll take on James Buckby in the final, and that will take place in around about a quarter of an hour's time.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series live on Pluto TV, where the semi-finals have been completed and we have a final between James Buckby and Archie Self coming your way very, very shortly indeed. Laura Turner has joined me to discuss what we've seen and what we might see in the final. Let's go semi-final by semi-final, and the first one, a disappointment again for Kurt Parry.
Yeah, and it was a match that, 4 legs in, I felt he was fully in control of. The 180s were flying. We had back-to-back 180s. He looked really comfortable up on the stage. There was even a moment where I thought, oh, he's really starting to enjoy this, really warm into the task. And unfortunately for Kurt, James got a lot better. And you have to give full credit to James as well for actually staying in that match at that point, because Kurt was throwing everything at him. Ultimately, a 2 apiece, though, it was James that ran away with it.
He's got that little bit of fire in him, hasn't he, James? If you speak to him, he's quite mild-mannered, but when he's on that stage, he can become a different beast.
Yeah, you don't make finals you don't make finals night if you haven't got that little bit of edge. But to now be here on a regulation week, second series running, and making the final once again, then you've definitely got something about you.
Yeah, and we said at the start of the show, he's come from that university dart scene. Doesn't get spoken about an awful lot in terms of sort of the other more traditional feeder tours, if you like. But if you're able to play in that environment, it can be a cauldron of noise and hostility, can't it? Then this should be a walk in the park for him, shouldn't
I
it?
have seen some of those events online, and yeah, they can be quite noisy. So absolutely, yeah. If you're used to playing in loud crowd, in front of loud crowds, then ultimately, yeah, this should be fine in terms of playing up on the stage. But yeah, it's interesting you say it. I think university darts doesn't perhaps it's starting to now be another feeder system for darts.
Yeah, maybe Archie Self can play there in a couple of years' time, can't he?
That's crazy to think, isn't it?
Look, he's carried on where he left off, hasn't he? He's just breezing past everybody so far.
Yeah, I'd say that semi-final, we just saw a little bit of a different version of Archie Self. He had to really dig deep. George had darts there to make it 3 apiece. Not many people have pushed him right the way to a last leg decider. So ultimately, you had to dig deep. We saw some frustration coming out because the darts perhaps weren't finding the treble first start of asking. There were a few misses, especially in the first leg on the outer ring. So yeah, winning from a different way. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So the main thing is just getting through to the final.
Will George Killington be kicking himself a little bit then?
I think so. It probably felt like one that got away. With George, he was having kind of one loose start, a throw. He started to really tighten it up in the last leg, but then when he got the opportunity to level it up, then again, just couldn't quite convert on the doubles. So considering you're playing an Archie Self who, as we've spoken about, has been playing so well, when he's not playing quite as well, you feel like you really need to take that opportunity, and George, unfortunately, just couldn't.
We've seen a couple of first-time winners get through to Champions Week. Michael Huntley doing it. Henry Coates had won a Rising Stars, but his first main series week. And we've got 2 players in the final that have been runner-up before, but haven't crossed that line as yet. It's been a bit of a narrative over the course of the evening, in fact. But well, let's go one by one on those previous times here, starting with Archie Self. I mean, it was an incredible debut anyway, wasn't it, to do it at 16 years of age, to get through to a final. But this feels like a different night where he is the dominant force.
Oh, absolutely. And you can just see how much he's learnt and how much he's grown since then. Yeah, playing against Dean Finn, who, experienced at playing for his country. It was a difficult one for Archie because, he was playing very well, but Dean just had this other gear in the final. But since then, I think Archie, he's just got that confidence, as I keep mentioning, and he's just come back a better player.
Yeah, and this time around, it was a semi-final defeat against Radek Jaganski, of course, who went on to win that night and make Champions Week. So, again, he's playing a player who's had a tour card there. He's an experienced player who's hit some fantastic heights, but I mean, we've seen him just not be phased at all by anyone, not just tonight, but this week.
No, and I think that's what you want to see. When people come here, you want to see them progress and come at this at a different angle, walk into this building and think, right, this is mine for the taking this week. I'm sure a lot of people do, but whether they actually believe it, and I think that's the difference. There is a real sense of belief every time I think Archie steps up onto the stage. And
James Buckby, a guy who's not lacking in belief either, and he's had that linear thing, hasn't he? Henry mentioned it in the interview, semi-final, runner-up. Tonight, is it going to be him going all the way?
Look, as commentators, we like a bit of a narrative, right? So if it happens, then brilliant for James, but also for the story itself. playing someone in your first regulation final, and you're playing Neil Duff, who is the most decorated player at the Live Lounge. I think 7 titles, including special weeks. Just 7 titles. I think it is now, isn't it? But he is such a tough competitor to get past. But now I think there might be a sense of opportunity. We've got 2 young guns, 2 players that have never actually picked up a weekly title. I think they'll both fancy their chances.
Yeah, I had to miss Neil Duff out when I was saying it was first-time winners, because he just seems to win every time, doesn't he? One thing we haven't actually mentioned, James Buckby only got the call-up very, very late. Gemma Hayter was due to play. She decided to withdraw after a difficult weekend playing darts. And, I mean, she's probably vindicated the guy that has replaced us in the final, but no preparation at all, really, for coming here. And to rock up to the final shows that the talent is just raw and natural, I suppose.
Yeah, raw was the word I was going to use, but sometimes it can be better for players, certainly like newer players coming through, that you don't have lots of weeks to kind of think, right, I'm going to do this soon, and the anticipation builds up, the excitement builds up, so when you get that call and it's like, right, I've got to do this now, hopefully he's still been playing university darts. I know he's had exams, so perhaps not as much practice that he'd have liked, but yeah, it just shows that there's a real natural ability in James.
Yeah, I believe he graduated this week, actually, James Buckby, so that's incredible. Yeah, what a way to celebrate. Graduation party tonight. Takes on Archie Self in this final, and they've had a little bit of a history this week. In fact, James came as close to anybody to beating him. We saw that miscount earlier on, but got him to a last leg decider in one match, but was whitewashed in the other. I mean, he'll be hoping that it's certainly not the latter there, but what kind of final are you expecting?
I'm hoping, again, another one that runs really close, because I thought James actually, he showed some real class and quality in remaining in that first semi-final and then getting better as it went along, coupled with the fact that Archie's had a little bit more of a turbulent semi-final. Perhaps there'll be some balance in the middle. We might get another last leg decider, but ultimately I still think Archie, with the experience he's got, has just got the slight edge at the moment.
James on the ball, so he's got that edge. Does that change your thinking at all?
No, not necessarily. I think, first couple of legs are always so important. I mean, every leg counts the same, but you just feel that whoever maybe gets the better start in this match, they may be able to run away with it, especially Archie. He just looks like such a strong front runner. Although James has proven already tonight that even if he's behind, he can find a way back. But I just think Archie may just have the edge.
It is set up very nicely indeed. It is time for the final.
James shot and a match.
James Buckby is a weekly finalist again, and he is hoping to go one step further than last time out. Archie Self will take on James Buckby to be the next young guns into Champions Week 14.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It's time to meet the finalists. Would you firstly please welcome to the stage, he was the 2025 Unidarts National Champion. It's Shuffle, James Buckby! And would you please welcome his opponent? He is a former Lakeside Boys champion of the world. It's the archer, Archie Self!
So this is how it will end this evening. These two players doing battle once again, Archie Self and James Buckby, for the Week 4 title. Archie Self, Yet to lose a game of darts this week. 16 years of age, 8 from 8 in the group, winning his group's games tonight as well, and of course the semi-final. The Archer taking aim at his first Modus Super Series title. And across from him, the man that, well, wasn't even going to be here this time last week, James Buckby, stepped up, stepped in, and has acquitted himself well. It is form against the fairy tale. The teenager against the challenger. One trophy, £5,000 at stake, and of course a place at Champions Week. The final is about to get started. Once again, a race to 4 legs, and Laura and Henry will talk you through it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, James to throw first. Game on.
In the history of this tournament, Tony Beaugries and Derek Coulson have gone through the entirety of a week unscathed.
100.
Archie Self is looking to become the 3rd player to join the Portsmouth Perfect Club.
60.
But he takes on a man who's come closer to beating him than any other adversary this week in James Buckby. Barring a miscount, we may not even be talking
81.
about that particular statistic in this particular contest. The first thing Archie Self has lost all week is the bullseye. Buckby won that, but Self gets the first max.
Yeah, and that's why when I was speaking to Chris just a moment ago, you know, the start of a final, it can be a real settler if you can get that first leg down. But if Archie can get it, then Buckby is already straight on the back foot, and before blinking could find himself 3-0 down before he knows it. So these first few legs, all important.
Well, Self's left himself on 1-2-1 after 9. He's got out the gate quickly.
118.
Jekyll and Hyde in comparison to some of the stuff he threw against George Killington. How about this for a start? Bullseye
90.
is not there.
James, you require 142.
But once again, Buckby in a position to pounce, but the 1-4-2 combination not started off by James.
122.
Set up really well.
Archie, you require 31.
8-8.
Game show on the first leg.
And that is a 14 dart breaker throw. Now, interestingly,
Second leg, Archie
just some numbers.
93.
And one of the numbers is a supercomputer predictor as to who wins this final. And they give Archie Self a 76%
100.
chance of winning this game, despite the fact he lost the bull in the practice room.
Yeah, and
99.
you know, when you're in these situations, and obviously, you know, as commentators and pundits, we have to make these types of predictions. It's never to write off an opponent. It's just looking at what you've seen throughout the week and what you've seen around the play here at the Super Series.
And look, we've got every
93.
single bit of data to hand, and so our job is to compile all that data and kind of give you a rough guide as to how the game could play out. Sometimes it might play out perfectly to plan.
57.
Sometimes it could be the absolute opposite, because at the end of the day, this is a sport played by human beings and not by AI, thankfully.
134.
Well, that is a great response from Archie Self. Again, down to a finish after just a dozen darts.
What is it about James Buckby which brings the best out of
86.
Archie Self?
Archie, you
Happened
require
last
82.
night. It's happening again here.
Tops for a 2-0
Game
lead.
show on the
Tops
second
is
leg.
found.
Archie Self.
It's a 14-dart opener from Archie Self, backed up with a 15-dart
Third leg,
holder
James
throw.
to throw first.
In 3
Come on.
minutes, Archie Self is halfway towards the weekly title. 3 minutes flat. And James Buckby's averaging 96 on the nose, as you can see there. But he's getting
137.
absolutely nothing to show for it.
And again, when you're playing well, Buckby just taking his average over a ton. You just have to just be positive, keep throwing, and hope that you get an opportunity, because you're averaging James is averaging a ton and hasn't had a dart at a double. That is how well Archie Self has played so far in this final.
137.
The 2-treble scoring is a joke. He's had 4 2-treble turns and a max in this game, and we're only towards
60.
the middle portion of leg 3, but it feels like we're heading towards the 75% part of the contest. This is becoming rather obscene, Laura.
And I wonder if, Archie is one of those players that actually will see Buckby as one of his peers. They're of a similar age compared to a lot of what's happened this week. Double 11.
73.
Just the wrong side.
James requires 64.
Well, James Buckby's averaging a ton for this. The first opportunity he's had to finish off a leg.
56.
You get the sense
Archie
you ain't going to get many
11.
of them. And probably not another one in this leg.
Game show on the third leg. Archie Self.
Archie Self, in less than 5 minutes, has raced into a
Fourth leg,
3-0
Archie
lead.
2
This
for
is
Game
a
on.
real contest between the two, both playing well, but it's Archie Self that is managing to get that double before
97.
Buckby.
When Phil Taylor won the 1996 World Match Play, Sid Waddell uttered the words, "This kid could beat them all." Well, on Saturday, the 23rd of May, 2026,
60.
we might well be seeing another exciting young talent who is going to emerge above the pack,
137.
emerge above the parapet, and call himself champ. He's definitely champion-elect right now.
21.
And that bounce out, well, it's been the story of his week. But the story of this week, it feels, from this point onwards, is Archie Self
100.
becoming weekly champ for the very first time.
Yeah, Buckby by no means has played poorly, but
140.
Archie Self
Archie require 167.
doesn't need to go for it, but was going to go for it, I'm sure, anyway. He's got such a lead in this leg.
105.38 the average. Generational talent playing at the peak of his powers.
60.
And this,
Archie
to see
requires
it through.
72.
Tops for a 4-0
52.
win. Just the wrong side of the wire, but Buckby way back. Still, Archie Self knows he's got time.
60. Archie require 20.
Double five. Double five's been so good to Archie Self. Not
No
on this
score.
occasion.
James, you
And
require
Buckby,
160.
a long-range chance.
A long-range chance not taken.
60.
And so opportunity presents
Archie
itself
required
again
20.
for Archie Self.
Double five once again.
15.
Same outcome.
James, you
Frustration
require
there for
100.
Self because he's been in control.
One more reprieve.
60.
But is that the last chance James
Archie
Buckby has
required
had
5.
in this final?
Now double two is the target. Is that awkward?
Game
Not
shot.
at all. And
And
it's
the
Archie
Modus
Self who
Super
gets
Series,
across the
Series
line
14.
eventually.
Week
It was an
4 champion,
emphatic start
Archie
from the young
Self.
16-year-old. He won those opening 3 legs in 14, 15 and 14. It may have taken him a few missed starts at the match in that final leg, but it is a 4-0 victory, and that is what counts. Archie Self is your weekly winner. The 16-year-old victorious over James Buckby.
Yeah, he certainly is. And how emphatic was that as well? A 4-0 triumph for young Archie Self. And, well, what can you say about this young man? He follows in the footsteps of Luke Littler, of course, in winning a Super Series week at 16 years of age. Who knows where this path will lead for him? But what a night, what a week for Archie Self. And it's all about Archie tonight. He wins 4-0 against James Buckby, and we are going to hear from him. He's talking to Henry.
Yeah, Chris, thank you very much. Archie Self, many, many congratulations. Finally, it's your time here at the Live Lounge. Just sum up your feelings.
Speechless, mate. I can't believe it. I mean, I thought I played really well this week, and then coming into tonight, I felt very comfortable, and I just proved that what I can play.
How special a performance was that in the film? I know it took a couple of darts to get over the line, but actually the first 3.5 legs, that was just special, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I just didn't feel nervous at all. It's the same for when I was going for the doubles in the last leg. I weren't nervous, but I just didn't come out my hand right. But hey ho, I got the win in the end.
Did it feel like tonight was going to be the night for yourself? Did you just walk in here with this feel-good factor?
Yeah, I mean, I said to a couple of lads back there, I said, I'm feeling comfortable this week and I'm hoping to win it tonight, and I ended up doing it.
How important was fast starts for you? Because it felt like once you began to front run, it was very difficult for opponents to then come back at you.
Yeah, I mean, like the first 3 legs, as you said, against James, I mean, I was like a rocket ship and I just didn't stop. And then it was the same again. Scoring was perfectly fine, left to 72. Okay, yeah, it took me a couple of darts to win it in the end, but I'm happy I've won it.
I think James is going to take you off the Christmas card list this year. What is it about him which team when he brings the best out of you?
It's just his pace. I think like he's so quick when he throws to the ball. He's not like a slowish player, and I love his rhythm.
But for you, you're another teenage talent that's won a week here at the Super Series. We had a little chat about that earlier on this evening, how this has been a development path for a lot of players. So for you, how important is this win? Because we've spoken a lot about what you've done at the Lakeside, a lot of the stuff you've done with the JDC, a lot of the youth wins that you've got. Does this feel like an important step now you've won something at senior level?
This is the biggest thing I've won in the men's competition, 100%. I mean, yes, the youth was obviously at Lakeside, is on one of the biggest stages of them all. And then I come here and I just try to play like that again, and I've done it. And this is honestly one of the biggest achievements I've done in my darting men's career.
And does that now give you the confidence going forward? Now you're going to be playing in more senior competitions, the likes of Challenge Tour, etc.
I'm doing well on the Challenge Tour personally. I mean, I think I got to semi-final once, lost to Callum Goffin, but apart from that, I'm playing well at the moment.
Champions Week next, end of July. That's going to be some occasion for you, isn't it?
100%. I can't wait for it already.
Just sum up the last few days altogether, the whole lot, in your own words, if you can.
If I'm being honest, I came here on Thursday night thinking I might not win a game. And when I went 8 for 8 on the Friday night, I was just sat there thinking, wow, I can't believe I've done it. And I've not lost a game all week, so that's a bigger bonus.
Well, I'm not quite sure how aware you are of this, but he's done something that only 2 other players have ever done. Bo Greaves and Derek Coulson are the only players to have gone through an entire week without losing a game. That's not the worst company to be in, is it?
Nah, them 2 are just top players. I mean, what they're doing on the Pro Tour and all sorts, Bo with a tour card, it's just amazing to be a part of.
However, tonight is your night. Archie, many, many congratulations. That trophy is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, your Week 4 champion is the Archer, Archie Self!
Yeah, he is enjoying every second, and why wouldn't he be? Just 16 years of age, and he picks up a Modus Super Series title. Laura Turd has been watching the action tonight. Did you feel like you were witnessing something and someone special?
Yeah, well, we've talked about him so much this week because of the performance that he's put in. It's not just a one-off kind of 100 average here and there. He has maintained a real high level of consistency and performance throughout. You joining an elite club of 2 other people, and those 2 people being Bo Greaves and Derek Coulson, not dropping a single game. Very good indeed. But to win the final 4-0, so comprehensive. Yes, the start was unbelievable, 14, 15 and 14 darts. Okay, trip to get across the line in the end, but you can understand that. But yeah, sensational stuff.
Joining another elite club as well, of course, a name that continues to sort of ring round the corridors of this building in Luke Littler, 16 years of age and picking up a title like this. I mean, that's an incredible achievement. And look, without getting too carried away, the only person that's done it before is the guy that's now the world #1 and multiple world champion.
Yeah, and the sky's the limit, you feel, for Archie, because he said there no nerves whatsoever. And that in itself, unbelievable. But you forget sometimes that he's 16, a bit like we used to do with Luke Littler, because of the way he performs, but also the way he talks and the way he acts, on the stage, both on and off the oche. He's wise beyond his years.
And it is looking at the moment like a bit of a young man series, isn't it? Because if you look at the last 4 winners, I'll take Jeff Smith out of it. Sorry, Jeff, but Jensen Walker, Charlie Manby and Jack Drayton, all in that sort of age bracket of players that are still very much at the beginning of their careers.
Yeah, we always wax lyrical about experience, and experience, yes, of course, it counts for so much. But what you're seeing now, which is part of the process of, for Archie going to play for England, playing on the JDC, all of that progress, all of those facilities now that are in place for younger players, they're starting to produce more and more champions at younger ages, and Archie's just another one of them.
The way he acquitted himself in the final, you did touch on it already, but just all week, all night, really. And it was really weird, actually, to hear him say, I thought I might not win a match on Thursday night, because he looked like a man who didn't believe he could lose a match.
Yeah, me and you both pulled a face when we heard him say that, because that didn't come across. So if that's how he was feeling, then the fact that he started putting in those performances, I think he said to Henry earlier that after he got those first couple of games, realised he'd hit 90 averages, he thought, right, okay, I'm playing well, and then settled into it. So you can't underestimate how important a start to a group stage is. But once he found his feet, there was no looking back.
We just saw him hitting that winning double 2 there as well. But before that, there were a few missed starts before he finally crossed the line. Was that just an indication of actually what it did mean to him?
Yeah, it's a cliche, I know, but sometimes the last start is always the hardest, and it proved to be there. But he'd given himself so much time because his scoring was so good that he could afford a few misses at that stage. Yeah, I think it means a lot. He was saying it's the biggest thing that he's done, especially in the men's game. He's made a semi in the Challenge Tour, but this is a victory. It's on a stage in front of cameras. He gets the opportunity to go to Champions Week as well. So, so much potential there for what he can do going forward off the back of it.
And you could see that when he lifted the trophy, couldn't you? Because we see often some players kind of quite awkwardly lift it up, but he went for it, didn't he? He had a good inspection of the trophy, and when his name was called, he gave it some, and why not?
Absolutely, yeah. I wonder if that's something that goes through players' heads before they actually get the opportunity to do it for the first time. How am I going to do it? But it just looked raw, natural. Yeah, he absolutely loved it. You could see from the reaction right at the end, as you say, with the trophy lift, that it meant a real lot.
What's the most impressive for him as a darts player?
I just think when you combine, I know we talk about age, but again, when you combine the fact that he's 16 years old, he's done great things in the youth. I think the pathway is really impressive. The fact that he's done England, he's done Lakeside, he's done Challenge Tour, now he's doing Dev Tour. We can see that pathway, but now he's just got the belief, the consistency, the confidence, and he's backing it up with some massive performances.
Yeah, he really is. And look, he can produce some big stuff as well. We've seen plenty of it. Not just tonight, but over the course of the week. This is a question, I suppose, that nobody knows the answer to, but does he have the credentials to go a long, long way in this game?
From what I've seen so far, absolutely. There is a lot of talent coming through. I think, going forward, we look back at this conversation in 5 years' time, I think there's going to be a lot of people that we can say the same thing about. But, it's all about winning. And to do it here, third attempt of picking up the title here, he's been a runner-up previously. The progression is there. The winning is now there. And who knows what he might do in Challenge Week.
Yeah, live pictures those, by the way. So he doesn't want to leave, does he? He wants to stay in the moment, take it all in. But just a reminder of how he did it. This is the results from the semis and the final tonight. And Archie Self, I mean, you mentioned it, Laura. George Killington had moments where he could have written a different script tonight, but once he got into that final, James Buckby wasn't going to take it away from him, was he?
No, and you have to give a lot of credit to James Buckby as well, because I think James at one point was averaging in excess of 100 and hadn't had a double, because Archie was just so dominant from the very off. But yeah, you could see he had his eyes on the prize, didn't he? Yeah. And didn't disappoint.
Well, on James, look, he's made it through to another final, a late call-up as we discussed. He's someone who we should watch out for as well, right?
100%, yeah, especially if if this is a James that's turned up that hasn't really had the practice that he perhaps liked to have had before coming here, then imagine what he can do maybe when he has a practice, because you don't make back-to-back finals and not be a quality player. So he's just run into two very top competitors in the likes of, I think it was Neil Duff last time, and this time round in Archie Self.
Look, the week as a whole, does it feel a little bit like last week, where there's plenty of sort of sub-stories, Killington having a better finals night, James Buckby coming in late and reaching the final, Classen and the narrative about it being maybe his last time and then winning Group A, but they've all been overshadowed by one guy, much like Henry Coates last week, Archie Self this week.
Yes, and that's it. I think that is going to be the story that we remember more than anything else when we look back at this week, when we come to Champions Week. And it's great to see those scenes where, you know, he's got friends, family, support that are all coming up, enjoying the moment with him as well. It shows just how much it means, and he's definitely one to watch when it comes to Champions Week.
Yeah, what you won't see off picture there's a clamour of people trying to get that photograph behind our photographer as well. Go Archie, go the side. And you see a young kid like that. Look, we had an academy here last week. They're watching, aren't they? And they're getting inspired by young players doing it in the not too distant future. When dart players of old were watching, they were watching somebody who was maybe in the 40s, 50s. They're watching teenagers and they're thinking, look, that could be me in just a few years.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, the progression. I mean, when I was growing up, like you say, I was watching kind of the likes of Andy Fordham's, and they were my inspiration. But ultimately, things are changing, and it's now becoming like a younger person's game. So they can now inspire the next generation. People that are going to academies might think, right, if I knuckle down, if I put in the work and put in the practice, then I can come here. I can get the opportunity to play at the Super Series. It's not going to happen for everyone, but if you can inspire people to try and take up that route, or even people might even be inspired to take up the game for the first time. That's what it's all about.
Well, is it a young person's game? Because Champions Week this time around, we're going to find out, aren't we? The way it's shaping up, it is young players versus senior stars, because Neil Duff and Michael Huntley both played in World Seniors tournaments. Henry Coates is our Rising Stars champion. Archie Self is 16 years of age.
Yeah, there's a divide, isn't there? There's definitely an age divide between the four that have come through. Ultimately, it'd be great to see how the rest of the weeks pan out in terms of who joins them. But yeah, it's that adage now that perhaps, you know, experience counts for so much, as I've said before. You can't underestimate that at all. But the fearlessness that these youth players have got, coupled with their ability, they are all very dangerous.
Has Archie just struck a little bit of fear into the minds of those other three players with what he's done this week?
I think they'll be sitting up and taking a look and realising that, yeah, that there's a big competitor that's now just joined the field. But there's going to be a few more that are joining them as the weeks go on.
Yeah, absolutely right. Laura, thank you for this evening, and thank you for watching this evening as well. There's plenty coming up outside of the live action here at the Modus Super Series channel on Pluto TV. Next up, George Noble, a documentary on his fantastic career as a referee as he hung his microphone up after the World Championship final at the start of this year. Then we're going to take a look back at Champions Night from Series 13, the last Champions Night that was held here. You can watch it in full next Monday morning, 9:30. Series 14, Week 5 gets underway, and Saturday night, 7:30, it is the finals night as usual. Well, that brings an end to this week's and this evening's action here at the Super Series. And on the stage where Luke Littler begun his launch to stardom, tonight 16-year-old Archie made a name for himself.
156 of Classen. Well, this would be some way to get the night up and running. Some way to start.
On the first leg.
The Cobra's up and running. Not by choice, but executed perfectly.
It's a great guide with the first and finds it with the second, and it is. But there's also the expectation. And there was plenty of expectation. Double 16 for the bash, and it is Buckby that gets across the line, 4 legs to 2.
James Buckby is a weekly finalist again, and he is hoping to go one step further than last time out. Archie Self will take on James Buckby to be the next young gun into Champions Week 14.
Now double 2 is the target. Is that awkward? Not at all, and it's Archie Self who gets across the line eventually. It was an emphatic
start from the young 16-year-old.
Ladies and gentlemen, your week 4 champion is the Archer, Archie Self.
What a finish! What a man! The drum roll finishes, and the target is
And it comes on finals night, and it's a knockout.
Dirty Harrison! Van Velzen!
He will be disappointed with that. He wanted to have one dart.
requires 20.
Graham Usher wins the first game of Champions Night, and it was an absolute ripper. He hit one of them on tops. He missed one on double 12. Which one is it? It's the hit!
Outside opportunity for Andy Hamilton. Van der Velde should be getting a match start again here. He's already had one. Mr. Dart at tops for the match to win 4-1. And he Dart at double 16 gets the job done there for Jurgen van der Velde. He gets over the line with a 4-2-6.
Jimmy just looks to eat this up to make the semi-finals for the second time. Adam Gablas has been eliminated. Keep us guessing. This time he's trying to leave double 18. He knows best, and he takes the lead. He's 2 darts away
requires 86.
from a Super Series final. He's 1 dart away. He doesn't need any more darts. Jeff Smith makes the Series 11 final. Is Usher losing his cool a little bit here?
Oh, absolutely. Right now, I'd say the head's gone. And you don't have long to recover. It is very, very short format darts. Vansky's halfway to victory.
He only needs 1 more. Jimmy Vansky is yet again into a Modus Super Series final.
Flashback vibes. Can Jimmy Vansky do the same? Just needs the 1 treble here on the 19s. Finds it. For the ball.
101!
Oh, unlucky. A lot of pressure on it. He's going to split it. 2 darts for double 4 for the match.